Good evening, everybody. Good evening, YouTube. Um, Thank you for coming in and tuning in. Fridays, we're here every Friday. We talk sports, boxing, football, whatever it is. Today, we're going to start off with some boxing. I'm here with my co-host, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Mr. Socrates Palmer Jr. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Friday night, there's no better place to be than on YouTube with my boy, Triple T, Trash Talking Tom, and our guest of honor.
And yes, and we have a guest of honor today. He was a 1992 Olympian, in Barcelona, and a former IBF Junior Middleweight Champion of the world. Now, analyst on Showtime and Showbox. Mr. El Diamante, Raul Marquez. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it and looking forward to it and having a good time.
Hey, thank you. I mean, it's your time and you're donating it to us, and I really appreciate that. We'll pick your brain a little bit here and there, for the people tuning in, and and hopefully have a good time with it. You know what I'm saying? So, of course we'll start off. You could, tell us a little bit about yourself. I gave you a little brief intro, and we'll go from there.
Well, I mean, I was born in Mexico, August 28th, 1971, and we moved to the United States. I was pretty young when I moved to Chicago, Illinois. I was like a year or 2 years old, and we got our citizenship there because we were illegal aliens. My brother was born there, and we ended up settling down in Houston because it was too cold in Chicago. So we went to Houston, and that's where I started boxing at age 7. My dad had always been a big boxing fan, old school, like the old school Mexican fighters, Ruben Olivares, Carlos Zarate, Salvador Sanchez, all those guys back in the days.
Nice.
And he put me in boxing, man, at a PABA Boxing Academy. Salvation Army Boys Club was my first fight in May of 1980. And it just grew. I started fighting as an amateur, and one thing led to another. I started winning tournaments and, won the National Junior Olympics in 1987. That's when I first hit me that, man, I think I want to make the Olympic team one day, because I was watching the 88 Olympic team back then. I said, man, I want to try for the Olympics too. Sure enough, I made the Olympics in 1992. It was a great team with the golden boy, of course, Oscar De La Hoya, who won the gold medal.
Yeah.
Chris Bird surprised everybody by winning a silver medal. And, of course, Tim Austin, Vernon Forrest, Sergio Reyes, Montel Griffin, Larry Donald, all those guys.
Nice.
And, turned pro after that and won the IBF title. Had many, big fights, fought big names. I made the best out of my professional career.
Mm-hmm. But
thank God that when I was still when I was still boxing as a professional, I got into the broadcasting business. Broadcasting. I had somebody give me an opportunity to do broadcasting. Rick Sierra, actually, was the guy who gave me an opportunity to do some broadcasting on Telemundo. And I just stuck to it, man. I've been doing broadcasting in different platforms, you name it. HBO Latino, NBC Sports, Azteca America, just a bunch of international calls. I worked with Who's Who in boxing, Al Bernstein, Barry Tompkins, Rich Murata, all those guys. I worked with so many, Bob Papa. I've done Spanish, English, and I've been doing broadcasting for 26 years now. 26, yeah. I'm going on 26 years. But I've been with Showtime for 11 years now, doing Showbox, and then doing all the big fights in Spanish. So, and of course, I do a lot of other stuff with Showtime on their social media platforms. I do the weigh-ins, I do press conferences, I do translating, and I do it all. I do a lot for, so I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be where I'm at.
Nice.
You transitioned well into a second career, and one that's that you can do forever. You can, as long as you want to do it. I'm sure. Like you said, you just turned 52, so
yeah,
you got at least 20-year run.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's fun. I've been at the biggest fights. I mean, I covered Floyd Mayweather. His biggest fights, Manny Pacquiao, Holyfield, Roy Jones, Morales, Barrera. I've done, even most recently, of course, Tank Davis with Brian Garcia, and the Errol Spence Crawford fight. I covered so many fights, man. Sometimes it's hard to think of how many big fights I covered because it's been so many in the past 25 years. Like, it's hard to kind of remember sometimes. Did I cover that fight or not? But yeah, I've been around, man. I've been blessed to be at a bunch of those big fights.
Raul, when I with you being a former fighter, not only a former fighter, former world champion, when you are preparing, in the fighter interviews and things like that, do they look up to you more, like in more respect because this guy in front of me knows exactly what I'm going through? Do you get that? Did you get that vibe at the beginning, and do you still get that?
Oh, I believe so. A lot of the guys in the fighter meetings, I get a lot of respect all the time from, some of the fighters, like the newer generation, they might not know about me, but their trainers, they know about me. We've been around each other one way or another back in the amateur days or the pros. So I get a lot of love, from the trainers, and sometimes some of the fighters that just respect my broadcasting skills. I get a lot of love from that too. But at the beginning, I feel like I've been well respected in the boxing industry, when it comes down to fighters respecting my broadcasting skills, or even, what I've accomplished in boxing, being an Olympian. And, back when I was fighting, my mentality was just fight the best to be the best. I didn't look at it as a business, I felt like, I always tell the story, like when I became champion, I felt like I could have milked the title a little bit more by fighting lesser known opponents or lighter opponents, but I wanted to fight King Kong right away to try to get to the big fight. But I love the respect that I get, and it feels good, man. After so many years of being in the boxing game, it feels good. It's a good feeling.
Nice. Yeah, you want to. I mean, that Showbox announcing crew is probably the best in the business right now. Like out of all the broadcasting, boxing broadcasting groups.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We hear that a lot. We're all a good family. The Showtime family. I'm happy to be with them. I've been with them for 11 years. But Showbox, man. I love doing Showbox because those guys they fight their butts off, man. They want to make it to the big time. They're hungry. And they get in there, like the stories that you hear from a lot of these fighters, where they got to work day jobs and where they got to work overnight. They wake up in the morning to go run, or after they get out of work, they got to go to the gym and do sparring and train hard. They all have different stories, man, and it's fun to hear, what they go through to try to make it to the top. It's not all bread and butter. It's not just fun, and it takes a lot of discipline and dedication, and you got to be focused to get to the big time in boxing and make the real money, the big money.
Yeah, exactly. It's not an easy sport.
Not at all.
And like, Sock said, and we was talking a while ago, I believe 52 years old 2 days ago, you look great, right? To be in the boxing game and to look the way you look now, that's awesome. Not many, there's not a lot of guys that, that look as good as you after fighting, and that then have their speech, right?
Absolutely,
man. Some words, right?
Yeah, I'm sure you guys been around a lot of fighters, man, and they have their way of talking because of the punches, however they affect you. It affects everybody in different ways, and I got hit by some big guys, like Arthur Abraham, man. That guy had some incredible power. Jermaine Taylor. I mean, I fought some big names. But
Marquez,
like I said, Fernando Vargas, Rubo Campos. Like I said, I'm happy to be where I'm at, and I'm very fortunate. I'm one of the few, I guess, and just got to keep going.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. So, I was watching a while ago when you fought Mosley. We know Mosley. They were trying to kind of like set it up for him to fight De La Hoya in the rematch, right? And they put you there, and I think you came down in weight. And I was listening to the broadcast, and the first in the broadcast said, and I remember when you got in the ring, there was like, here's Marquez, and they talked about your announcing background. You was doing, I think, the Latino announcing crew for boxing at the time, and they spoke about that. But then they also mentioned that you bleed a lot. Like you had a lot of scar tissue. And then they said, when they look, he looks like he's about to bleed right now. And I was like, and lo and behold, in the third round, the headbutt.
Yeah.
You know, but that was crazy. But that's when I saw, like, you know, how fair and how a nice guy you are. Because a lot of fighters, they pull blame. Like when you watched the fight, you was upset about the cut. And then you went in it and you saw the replay and he said, nah, it was accidental. We, you know, lefty, southpaw and righty, and, you know, flash.
I mean, I was honest, you know, because that is what happened. But I was upset because I just felt. I mean, I don't like the way the fight ended. If you saw the fight, I mean, I was pretty strong compared to Shane. You know, Shane hit me with some. We came up with amateurs together. Shane was never like a. Not to take anything from his professional career, but he was never an elite amateur fighter.
Yeah.
He never won the nationals like I did. I was a top elite guy, so he was one of the third, fourth ranked guys. You know, I believe he lost to Vernon Forrest and Stevie Johnson, those kind of guys, Teron Millette. But, you know, as a pro, he you know, everything is timing in life. He made it very far, but I felt that I was coming on. And
I thought
I
so too. You hit him.
Fight, the fight
with two lefts, like solid.
And he was holding me like a crab, man. So you never know what could have happened.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna leave it like that. You never know what could have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you could have spoiled that rematch with De La Hoya. But I remember two specific shots you caught him with two straight lefts, and he not buzzed, but you know, you got his attention.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that was the plan. Like when we like the first round, second round, I was like, you know, Sugar Shane Mosley, which I know him from the amateurs, but you know, he beat De La Hoya. He's fast. He's still Shane Mosley now as a pro. But I was like, by the third round, I was like, when the bell rang, I was like, man, he ain't nothing. I'm ready for it. And I was a little bit too overly aggressive. And Shane does come in with his head.
Yeah.
And I am lefty, and I lunged, and, you know, he comes in with his head. He's shorter than me, so obviously his top of the head is going to hit me because I'm taller.
Yeah.
And busted me up. Then he busted me up again, and the cuts were pretty bad. So there's no way I could have continued. But, man, I wish I'll be 70 years old, 75, 80, still be talking about. I wish I would have had the rematch, because
was that something you guys chased? Like,
yeah, we tried, but, you know, there was no. He wasn't going to take the risk, man. I'll tell you what, I made him look bad in the way that Oscar, in the rematch, didn't want to pay him $7 million. I think Shane wanted like $7. He ended up getting like $5 million or something like that, which is still great. But you know, anyways, that's what I remember from that.
Yeah, fight. I remember because he wanted more money, and Oscar was making like 3 times as much more than
Yeah, but Oscar, he was the cash cow. He was a star, man. So he could call his shots. I respect that. You know,
that's true.
Now you fought some of the best of your era, but unfortunately you didn't get your teammate. How, you know, was that ever discussed, even like off the record? Like,
oh man,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted that fight, but Oscar never, I guess, never wanted to give me the opportunity. I know me and Richard Schaefer, we talked about it. You know, he would joke around. In 1992, they were roommates. Now, whatever, 10, 15, 20 years later, whatever it is, they meet in the ring. But, Oscar never, I guess he didn't want no part of me. I don't know. You know, I was lefty. I was a left-hander, which gave Oscar problems. I was a good body puncher. I was tough. I had a good chin. I had everything that gave Oscar problems. And he never, you know, he gave a lot of other fighters opportunities. Arturo Gatti, Jesse James Leija. All those guys. Smaller guys, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, now I'm not going to get into it, man. Smaller guys, exactly. Smaller guys, safer guys. Maybe guys that are past their prime, and we know the story.
Yes.
Come on,
absolutely.
Don't make me talk any shit because I will.
Well, you know that's what the media does.
Yes.
You're part of the brotherhood now. You're on this side, so you got to stir it up. The sparring. How many sparring sessions do you remember having with him?
None. Me and Oscar never sparred.
You never sparred?
Oh no! Wow.
You got to remember, like I was always the bigger guy. Oscar was 125 in amateurs and 132. I was 147 and 156. So we would have never sparred. I mean, when I sparred, they would spar me a division up. Like I was 156. I would spar guys like Chris Bird, you know, which was, he was very tricky. You know, I would always spar the bigger guys than the amateurs. It's amazing. Chris Bird at 150, 165, and then he goes on to win the heavyweight title, you know. Yeah, but I was part of those kind of guys. But I never got to spar guys like Oscar. He was lighter. He was a lot lighter. We were roommates a lot. You know, I body slammed him a couple of times because it pissed me off at the Olympic Training Center. But I mean, I was always the bigger, stronger guy, and he knew it. So maybe that's another thing. Mentally, you know, he just knew mentally that I was tough. You know, we came up together on the national team. I mean, we when Oscar joined the national team, I believe it was like 1991, and he had just won the national Golden Gloves, and I met him in the hallways of the hallway of the Olympic Training Center, the barracks. He came up to me. He's like, "Hey, you know, Raúl Márquez, you know, I'm from East LA," and you know, East LA talk or whatever. And he had heard about me because I had already been on the team for 2 years. I was the guy on there, and we just started hanging out, man. So we traveled the world together. We were always roommates. You know, we were cool. Italy, Australia. I mean, we were all over the United States. You know, so like I said, even when we went to the Olympics, we were roommates. So, yeah.
Did you ever get to spar with Vernon Forrest?
No, I never got to spar with Vernon. No,
okay,
never got. No, Vernon was 139, but he was tall for 139.
Yeah,
really good fighter, man. I had already moved up to 156, so yeah, I never got to spar with Vernon.
Okay. Yeah, there's a question from. I'm sorry. We have a question for someone in the chat. It's about the rematch. Like, do you think in the rematch you would have a different game plan with Shane?
Absolutely. I think I would have attacked him from the beginning because I take a good punch, and whatever shots he hit me with, which I don't think he hit me with a lot of solid shots, didn't affect me at all. Didn't hurt me at all. And I was just too big, too strong for him, man.
Yeah.
He had moved up to 154, actually. He moved up to 154 to fight me. And then him and Oscar fought at 154.
Yeah.
But and his speed wasn't what I thought it would be. So yeah, I would have attacked him more, but more head movement and more jabs, my body more in the center and or in the back, in the center back leg, not too front, not too much over my front leg, and lunging. I always had the problem of lunging when I threw the left hand and I missed. So I think if I carried my weight more in the center or back leg and control it more with the jab, mid range, maybe short distance too, go some inside work, push them, good tight defense, frame defense. That's what I would have done in the rematch to avoid those headbutts.
Yeah.
Because like I said, he's shorter. And if you see Shane, like even in other fights, he kind of lunges, you know, when he throws and he goes with his head. Like you got to watch his style.
Yeah.
He comes in with his head too.
Kind of Holyfield-ish.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not making excuses. It was my fault too, because I was coming in with my head too. We just banged heads, man. It was, you know, I got the bad end of it because, like I said, he was shorter and I was taller, so the top of his head hit my eyebrows and stuff. Twice, actually.
Both sides.
Yeah, one of the cuts, supposedly you could see the bone and stuff. You could see the bone.
That's what it said. Yeah, the doctor.
And I was like, man, I was pissed off. I was like,
because that third round, you look good in that third round.
I was that was the round that I said, okay, we did 2 rounds. That's all you. I mean, let me take it to him. Let me bully him around. Let me push him around. Let him feel my power, my strength, you know. And I was coming. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
We could do this interview 25 years later. I'll say the same thing too.
Like the movie with De Niro and Stallone, right?
Yeah.
Grudge match. Yeah.
I have another member in the chat, another colleague of mine in the YouTube world. She says she's from Texas. She says she's watched everything you've done on Showtime, and Fight Towns Houston was lit. It was fire. So like,
oh yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Steven Jackson, Stacks, he's in town. He'll be at my gym tomorrow. and we've always hit it off very well. And you know, we've done press conferences together, weighing shows together, and we're gonna continue to do fight towns. I'm gonna be now a part of fight towns wherever we go. I believe we're gonna go to Baltimore next, and there talks about going to Dallas, Fort Worth, Phoenix, LA,
New York.
Possibly, yeah. I mean,
Possibly, it should be there.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's not. It's New York is not what it once was.
No.
Right.
But as far as like the historic, yeah, you can't disrespect New York. Biasness apart.
Absolutely, yeah. But you know, me and Stacks, we have a good connection. We like to hang out too and party and have fiestas. So yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate the love for the fight towns. Yeah. Keep tuning in, guys.
That's a good concept.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I got one more question from K-Rod. He says, do you believe the hardest thing in boxing is the lack of proper matchmaking and fighters having a bad circle of people that could potentially abuse their manipulation to you that staggers your career?
I mean, it's always been like this. Boxing is a business, man.
Yeah.
That's where you got to have the right people behind you, people that really care about you, that love you, that are going to be for your best interests, you know? And then, hey, I mean, how many fighters have you heard in the past that made millions of dollars and they're broke because they didn't have the right people? They took their money, management, whatever, you know, you hear it all the time.
Yeah.
So, but that's why you got to have the right people, the right team that's going to really take care of you.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It's a good segue, actually, because this is the first time you've been on our show. So there's a little bit of this is your life. So you good people around you. Your father's the first one to introduce you to the sport. Was he your first trainer?
Yeah, actually, my dad in the amateurs, you know, like I said, he was always just a big boxing fan, and he'll learn from watching the old school fighters. But he took me to the Olympics, man. He took me to the Olympics. He took me to winning my world title. You know, and of course, when I did and I lost, and we had some differences that always happens, and I ended up, you know, like going with Ronnie Shields or other trainers, but I ended up finishing my career with my father, which was the right thing to do. I mean, sometimes you go through his age, you get stubborn, you want to try something different, which there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you know, I finished my career with my father.
Nice.
And now, you know, full circle. Now you've introduced your son, Giovanni, who ironically has the same name as your last win, right?
Right.
Giovanni Lorenzo. Oh.
Right. Yeah.
So
Giovanni. Actually, my oldest son Raul, he was a fighter too, amateur.
Okay.
He was pretty decent, but you know, just he liked discipline. He didn't have the discipline. He liked the fiesta too much and the woman, and you know that's not gonna happen. But there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just you got to know when. And then Arturo, you know, he had signed with Top Rank. We took him to 10-0 with 6 knockouts. Arturo, he was a fighter too. But then somebody poked his eye, and 2 fights before it was getting problems. It wasn't a detached retina, but it's called the corneal abrasion. You know, some fighters, they still fight that way if they're in need of trying to make money, obviously. But you know, my son, you know, he's not like that. So you know, he's got a good job. He does well. Both of them do very well. But Giovanni, maybe he learned from the 2 older ones, you know. But he's very disciplined. He's very dedicated. I don't have to worry about him when I'm out of town. You know, he'll send me stuff. He's always working out. He gets it. He gets it. He won the national golden. He went to a bunch of national tournaments. He was a decent amateur. He would maybe lose in the semifinals or quarterfinals. Probably lose to the guy that won. You know how the amateurs is. We thought we would get bad decisions, or some fights were close. Well, whatever the reason was. But he never gave up until he won the National Golden Gloves a couple of years ago. Got the Outstanding Fighter Award, and then we turned pro after that. And he's 6-0 now with 4 knockouts. He just had a really good fight a couple of weeks ago on Overtime Boxing. That new platform. knocked out this guy that I expected that guy to go more rounds, and I knew Giovanni would win, but it's the way he did it. So it showed me progress, that he's learning, getting better. And now because of that, he's got a fight October the 14th on ESPN with Bob Arum, Top Rank, which he's got a fight here close to Houston, Rosenberg, about an hour from Houston. So we're looking forward to that. He's getting ready for that now. And, of course, he spars with guys like Shakur Stevenson hired him for one of Shakur's last fights.
Okay.
Hired him for, he was up in Vegas sparring with Shakur for about a month because he gave Shakur good work. He sparred Devin Haney before, Oshaki Foster. Spars a lot of pros,
Yeah, a lot of good pros too. Those are
and he,
good pros.
And he, he learns from that. He gets better from that. Like I tell him, like when I was an amateur, when I was a pro too, being in the Duva camp, I mean, Jesus, I was sparring guys like Pernell Whitaker, Meldrick Taylor.
Wow.
You want to go further? Rocky Lockridge, Johnny Bumpus.
Oh, Rocky Lock. Wow.
Bump
Remember
City.
those guys?
Wow.
Bump City Bumpus. Yeah.
Vinny Pazienza, John Molina.
It's a funny guy, Vinny Pazienza.
Yeah, John Molina, all those guys.
I thought John Molina got robbed against De La Hoya. I thought that was
a lot of people. You know what?
I don't mean to keep bringing them up, but
John was a very
awkward.
A lot of awkwardness, and he made De La Hoya look bad. I agree. I think John beat him, but Oscar was the golden boy.
Right.
Yeah, Oscar got a few gift decisions.
It's good for business, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And Giovanni, at what weight do you see him maximizing his potential?
Well, I mean, we're focusing right now. He's just started, man, and boxing's it's a very tough sport, but I think we're making the right moves, and I think he's looking good. We're at 140 pounds, which is a very tough weight division. There's a lot of champions there that have big names, and there's a lot of prospects. There's a lot of contenders. It's a very tough weight division, but let's worry about winning one world title first, before we think about moving up in weight. So we're taking it one day at a time. Yeah, 140.
What's his? Okay.
He weighed 141 his last fight. So yeah, if he ever fights for the title and or some minimum fight, he'll get down to 140.
140. Okay. 140 is a stacked division right now too.
Yeah, very stacked. But he's only got 6 fights. He's like I said, we're excited about this Top Rank show on ESPN October 14th, and he knows knockout sell, and because of this last performance, we're getting this opportunity with Bob Arum and Top Rank, who promoted me back in my days too, and it's we're honored to get that opportunity and see what happens.
Nice opportunity, good exposure.
Yep,
definitely,
for sure.
I see a question.
Yeah, so 86 Boxing, he says, I'm from Arkansas. What are your thoughts on Jermaine Taylor as far as what made him tough?
With Jermaine, man, he was just his athleticism, like he was what's the word I'm looking for? He's an athlete, man, well-rounded athlete, big, strong. He's a big, huge middleweight. His jab, long arms, his 1-2 down the middle. Patrick Burns trained him for that fight, and Patrick knew me from the amateurs, and he said, we practice the 1-2 and hold Raul. Do not let him get in the inside. That's the way he beat me. He was definitely bigger and stronger than me, but he would double jab lead and he'll hold me in the inside because he knew that once if I get in the inside, that's my game. The body and push him back and get in the inside. But I think that's what made him big, man. He's just big guy, strong, very smart. His jab, he had a great jab, and 1-2 down the middle. That's what I remember. But I heard he's not doing very well. I heard that about Jermaine too, man.
Yeah.
I don't see how it happens, man, but it does. Obviously, it does. Very sad.
Yeah. I haven't heard much about it in a while, but from last I've heard, it is kind of sad. He had a really good career, especially he came up, you know, became champ, and then I guess was the Pavlik fight. That's where everything.
He beat Hopkins up. He beat Hopkins.
Yeah, he beat Hopkins up. Yeah,
Beat Hopkins.
I thought he won convincingly too.
Yeah,
right. And then
the student of the game, man, he beat Hopkins. I mean, you got to give it. That's great.
Yeah. And he was beating Pavlik. Pavlik had to get up.
Yes, that was a great fight. Yes,
he knocked Pavlik down. Pavlik looked in trouble, and he held on, and he caught him. So, and my belief is like the second fight, the rematch. I thought he kind of was hesitant, like maybe a little scared of Pavlik because he didn't fight the same. Like he just if he didn't want to engage with him.
Right.
Yeah.
He fought Arthur Abraham too. I remember when he was here in Canada.
That was ugly.
Yeah. And I said, watch that guy. He's got power. He knows how to carry that power. And he said, oh, no, I got it. He got knocked out, man. That's when Abraham put him in the hospital. That's when he had like a blood clot in his brain or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was late though, right? Was that one?
It was.
Yeah. He was winning the whole fight, I think, too. And the same happened with Froch. He was winning the whole fight too, I think, and then he got caught in the last round. Yeah,
that was dangerous late.
Yeah,
guys came. Arthur Abraham, you fought him. Was he the biggest puncher you faced?
I believe so, man. I took a good shot, and Abraham was like a man. That guy could hit, man. That guy could hit. What surprised me was his reach. He had long arms, short and stocky, not that tall, but long arms. So before I thought I could get to him, I was getting hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had a long reach. I definitely felt his power. Every time he hit me, like I could feel it. After the sixth round, and that's it. No reason to go back out. We agreed, and I was 37 years old, and I called it a day, man.
Were you ever close to coming back out again? I'm sure you probably got offers.
But when I was 37, I retired. I fought for the middleweight title against Arthur Abraham. Back then was when Chavez Jr. was kind of like coming up or looking for name fighters. I probably could have fought someone like Chavez Jr. for some money. It never happened. Maybe if it would have been offered, I would have thought about it. Because, hey, look, in boxing, you make money as when you became champion, and then you make money as the champion that had a name. And you just got a test other guys. But no, it never materialized. I mean, there was talks about it. There was even talks about, remember that guy, me and John Duddy?
John Duddy,
yeah. Irish guy.
New York, yeah.
Yeah, Irish guy that, Mexican-Irish on St. Patrick's Day. Me and Tony Ayala, when he came out of jail, prison or whatever, remember, in San Antonio, but he wanted too much money. Like, I think there was like maybe $250,000 a piece. He thought it was worth more, which I don't think he was. I mean, he was supposed to be this. He was supposed to be this and that, but he never was. So
right,
yeah.
But we could have made $250,000, and then the winner moves on and makes more.
Yeah.
I think,
and I was willing to do it.
I think you would have killed him because he wound up losing to a Puerto Rican guy from Connecticut, Cardona. Was it Pito Cardona?
Pito Cardona.
Watched him. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He was a piece of work.
Yeah. I was ready for that fight, but it would have been in San Antonio too. In San Antonio.
Yeah.
And I was okay with that too.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's rewind the clock. Your first world title. The night you won the world title. How vivid is that still in your mind?
Well, I fought for the vacant title against a pretty durable, tough guy, Anthony Stevens, who fought Felix Trinidad, and gave Trinidad a pretty decent fight. I think Trinidad stopped him in the 11th round. I think it was a premature stoppage, more like a Don King thing, But but he, I fought for the vacant title because Terry Norris I think he had all the belts, and he vacated one of the titles, I believe. So yeah, it was on ABC Wild Water Sports.
Yes.
It was when De La Hoya fought Pernell Whitaker that evening. I fought during the day at the Tropicana Hotel in Las Vegas on ABC Wild Water Sports. I won the IBF World Title. I stopped him in 9 rounds. Anthony Stevens, and then Oscar fought Pernell Whitaker that night, and it was great, man. I mean, to become a world champion and something that I've been waiting for all my life since I was little. You know, besides being an Olympian, it was good to win the IBF title.
Nice.
What
do you
Go
ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask like what he thought about the state of boxing, like this year. Like how do you think, you know, boxing this year with all the big, you know?
Oh man, it's great. It's a lot of big things are happening, man. I mean, you know, a lot of big fights. A lot of big fights are going on. You know, Tank Davis and, you know, against Ryan Garcia and of course Crawford and Spence, and then even who did Plant fight? Canelo, you know.
Canelo and Charlo about to fight.
And Canelo and Charlo about to fight, and I'm sure Tank Davis is gonna fight before the year's over, and maybe I don't know if Crawford and Spence are gonna do it again before the year's over. We still got Benavidez, David Benavidez. We got, you know, again, like you said, Canelo and Charlo. A lot of big fights. Showtime's been put on a lot of big fights, a lot of name fights, super fights, and you know, now that Canelo's back with Showtime, after the Charlo fight, you know, he'll probably fight next May, Cinco de Mayo or something like that, with another big name.
What do you think if somehow Charlo pulls the upset off, because Charlo's the underdog? If Charlo pulls it, does Canelo continue to fight? Do you think?
I think he will. Okay. Yeah, I think so. I still think he's the face of boxing. You know, he's a big draw.
Mm-hmm.
I would think he still fights. Yeah.
And who do you think is going to win that fight? Who do you favor?
Look, Charlo's moving up to 168. He's never. I mean, he's naturally a bigger. He's naturally a big dude. You know. Yeah. I know the Charlos since they were little, man. Back in those little twins, I would see them all the time. Back when I would train at Willis Valance Gym with Ronnie Shields, and they were sit there around the ring and watch me spar and watch everybody. Holyfield, Rocky Juarez, Juan Diaz. So we go way back. You know, I remember those guys, and never really won big tournaments, but they would always come back. They had their work ethic. They always work hard, you know, in training. But to your question, I think, you know, I mean, he's, like they say, you know, dare to be great. I mean, he's taking a big risk, you know, moving up to 168, a class that he's never really fought at. But I feel he's more like a 160-pounder moving up to 168. The reason he would never move up to 160 was because his brother in that weight class.
Yeah.
I think he'll be able to carry the weight, right? But again, Canelo has been there for a while. He's naturally fought bigger guys. I mean, he even fought Bivol. You know, Caleb Plant, all those, you know, at 168, he fought a lot of big guys. He's going to have to box, man. He's going to just have to use his jab, and I wouldn't trade with Canelo. I really can't pick any. I mean, I'm not looking to pick anybody right now, but it's going to be an entertaining fight. I think Charlo is going to give Canelo a better fight than what most people think because of the whole, you know, a lot of people say, oh, he's a 154-pounder, but in the past 3 years, he's fought like one fight, you know, like Rosario, and then he fought Castaño twice. Castaño 1 year. Yeah, so he only makes 154 once, like he said, and that's it. He's only seen it one time. So, like I said, he's probably walking around 180, 185. I think it's going to be an entertaining fight. It's going to be entertaining, and we know Canelo hasn't looked that good in his last 2 fights.
No.
But, you know, he had hand issues or his wrist or whatever was wrong with him. I think this kind of challenge motivates Canelo. I think from what I've seen, you know, when I was at the press conference in New York, he seems pretty motivated. there was a lot of respect between both of them.
Yes.
Especially Canelo. You know, Canelo's not really. He says, "I don't like to talk." He said, "I don't really talk shit." You know, he's been in this game for so long, so maybe he's waiting for Charlo to talk shit. You know, what Charlo didn't, but let's wait and see the week of the fight. I think Charlo is that kind of guy that it doesn't take much to spark him up.
It really doesn't, yeah. But he's been very respectful.
Yeah, he has.
And then I heard in the press conference, well, in New York, that once Canelo finished, he was gone. He didn't take really any questions afterwards, so he didn't give the opportunity to like really say anything and bad. He was gone. There was some people trying to get interviews, and he left. But Charlo was there, and he was friendly and speaking with people. So
right, yeah.
So, but maybe like you said, the week of the fight may change. Somebody may say something, and that may spark up a whole thing, which is good. We need that. That helps promote.
Yeah, if anybody's gonna talk, it's gonna be Charlo. So because they fight. I mean, it's like he needs that to get motivated too. I feel like he's got to grab onto something.
Yeah.
To have that fire, you know, but he's got to be able to control his emotions and fight very focused and stick to boxing. Use that long jab and like I said on the press conference deal, you know, he's got to fight like he fought Castaño times 10. You know, like very cautious and be smart about it. Hold Canelo on the inside, get back on the outside. I wouldn't trade too much with Canelo on the inside.
Yeah. He has like the second Castaño, like the first Castaño fight. Castaño was hitting Charlo a lot,
right?
And he hurt. I saw him hurt Charlo.
Yeah.
So he can't.
He don't want to. He don't want to get caught by Canelo with those shots because Canelo's. He's a solid 168 pounder, man. He, like I said, fought as high as light heavyweight with Bivol. So.
Yeah.
Do you think age is catching up to Canelo, and that's part of the reason he hasn't looked great, or is it? Like what you were alluding to, like he seems like this is a fight he'll be up for, like maybe lack of motivation.
Yeah, I think he's gonna rise to the occasion. This is the kind of fights that motivates him. Is Canelo at his prime? No, I don't think he's at his prime anymore. For sure, he's not at his prime. Is he still a goddamn great fighter? Yes, he's still elite, man. He's a really good fighter, but I don't think he's at his prime. You got to understand. I mean, he's been a pro since he's 15 years old. I mean, all those, and then you know the big fights too. All that wear and tear in training camps, and that wears you out in the fights. That wears you out a lot. Takes a lot out of you. But I still think he's a really good fighter.
Yeah,
not in his prime, but he's good. He's good enough.
Yeah.
Where do you put him on? If there's a Mount Rushmore of Mexican fighters, where do you put Canelo on there?
No, I don't.
No.
Okay.
I don't think.
Okay.
To be honest.
So who's your Mount Rushmore of Mexican fighters?
I mean, my idol was Julio Cesar Chavez.
Okay.
You know, Chavez and guys like Salvador Sanchez and then most recent, guys like Barrera Morales. They're good fighters, man. They're really good fighters. Yeah.
One of my favorites is Juan Manuel Marquez. What do you?
Marquez, I'm sorry. Yeah, Juan Manuel Marquez. I'm sorry, I missed it. Yeah, Juan Manuel Marquez, Barrera Morales, all those guys.
Yeah.
Chavez.
Salvador Sanchez is definitely, I think, on there.
Duran, but he's Panamanian. Duran.
Yeah. But I think he's like a quarter Mexican, right? Wasn't his father?
Yeah, something
or his grandfather Mexican? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're out at events and what we said, Chavez was your hero, your boxing hero.
Right. Yeah. Chavez. Chavez, Duran, Hagler.
Mm-hmm.
They were my favorites.
That's 3 guys growing up.
Yeah.
Were you ever starstruck with any meeting a fighter for the first time?
I met Sugar Ray Leonard, but not really. I just Tommy Hearns. I hung out with Duran. We just had drinks together. We got drunk together. Duran. No, I was never really starstruck, man. No. It's like, as fighters, we're more like, it's all family, man. Like, once you get to that level, it's like,
It's like a fraternity, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, it's like you
Yeah.
know, we all know how to communicate. We when we talk, it's just so easy because we think the same. We think the same in all kinds of ways.
yeah. I mean, the same way you all, grind the same way and have to put in the work the same way, so you guys understand each other.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
Mutual respect.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Look at it that way. Yes, for sure.
One more fight. What do you? I mean, it probably. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but this is the kind of like the talk. The last couple of days, Spence activated the rematch,
right,
with Crawford. The question is, are they going to fight at 154? It seems that it'll be at 154. Do you give Spence a chance after seeing what happened in the last fight?
Man, let me tell you something. I had picked Spence to win, and I mean it was a 50-50 fight, and I always thought I looked at it like I picked Spence to win, but I looked at it like whoever wakes up that day and has a better day, that's who's gonna win. And that's pretty much what happened. But man, Crawford had a goddamn great day. I didn't expect that. I expected more from Spence. I really don't know what happened. Like Crawford just neutralized everything. His jab, his power, the pressure that Spence, puts, his body attack. He didn't have anything, man. I really don't know. I mean, I don't know what happened. Like, I talked to Derek. Derek James is a good friend of mine. We talk every now and then. We won the National Junior Olympics together back in 1987. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
As a matter of fact, Giovanni, we've been talking. We're trying to get some sparring with, it's probably going to happen with Brian Garcia and with Frank Martin, which would be good for Giovanni.
Yeah.
But when I talked to Derek up in the press conference in New York for the Charlo Canelo press conference, he was like, man, he just didn't have a good day, man. That's, he didn't have a good day. That's the way he described it. Some people say the effects of the accident kind of like catching up to him, the weight issue catching up to him. I think it's a mix-up of all that. I don't think I don't know what you guys think, but I just don't think he's the same. And I think if it happens at 147 or 154, I think we're going to see the same result.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think the inactivity might have been something to do with it. So maybe that's why I can maybe give him a better shot. Because now, he's been in the ring with him. That's got to be some type of, help as well. I mean,
and yeah,
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Crawford saying that he, if he gets the opportunity, he'll definitely jump at fighting Canelo at 68? What do you think of that?
Dare to be great. I mean, hey, all this guy, you know what I think it's so crazy? Like, all these guys jumping 2 weight divisions and like nothing, Back then, when guys like Salvador Sanchez and Wilfredo Gomez,
yes,
we're talking about a 3-pound difference, guys. 3-pound difference. And Sanchez destroyed them. 3 pounds.
Yeah.
These guys are jumping 20 pounds or whatever it is. And they're able to do it. I mean, how do they do it, man? Are they from another part of the world or something? I mean, how are they able to do that? Even Mantequilla Nápoles, I think he fought Carlos Monzon.
Yes, he jumped up.
He got destroyed.
Yeah.
But now these guys are jumping up 2 weight classes.
Yeah. I haven't, and the first try too. It's not even like going up and
Not
fighting somebody first and then for the championperson. Like,
I mean,
what are
they doing, man? What are they doing?
Well, I think.
Canelo
Let's start off some shit. Yes, let's start off some shit. Well, I think the one thing with the Crawford Spence, I think the delay of the fight helped Crawford because I think he's now a full-fledged welterweight. I think his body is a 47 now, as opposed to the guy that came up from 35, 40. He was at welterweight now for about 3 years at least.
Yeah.
4 years.
Oh, he was definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about if he moves up to fight Canelo and even Charlo moving up to fight Canelo, 2 weight divisions. And like we saw what happened to Mantequilla Nápoles when he moved up to fight Monzon. And then a good example is Wilfredo Gomez to fight Chavez. I mean, not Chavez, Salvador Sanchez, 3-pound difference, and
Yeah.
he got destroyed.
I mean,
the last one was Kell Brook when he fought Triple G. He moved up 2 weight classes. Right?
And he got destroyed. He got,
right. Well, guys like Duran, when he went and fought Leonard, jumped from lightweight to welterweight.
Hearns too, right? Duran, when he fought, he got knocked out by Hearns
at 54, I think it was.
Yeah.
And Sugar Ray beat Danny Lalonde, I remember, at light heavyweight.
That light heavyweight, yeah. Roy Jones was another guy that was able to do that. Moved up to heavyweight.
Right.
Beat, John Ruiz.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. He moved up 2 weights. Yeah.
Not that many guys.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's a big move.
Yeah.
It's a big risk.
Can we stir up some shit without no one trying to sue us? No, I mean, we know the whatever pound gorilla in the room, PEDs in boxing. How big of an issue is it? And how big of an issue is it, of people actually trying to control it?
Yeah, I
You don't have
just
to name drop. No name drop.
I mean, honestly, I'd rather not touch that subject.
Okay.
I mean, something is happening, obviously, and that's why everybody should get tested,
I mean,
in your era, when you fought, were there any rumors of guys and I know definitely was a rumor of a guy that you fought at the tail end of your career, and it wound up being true.
Well, I mean, look, besides that guy, when I fought Fernando Vargas, of course, that was a smaller fight, not a big. It was on HBO After Dark. But what happened when he fought De La Hoya?
Right.
Yeah.
What did Fernando? He tested positive, right? And he got suspension for I don't know how long, and a fine. So that makes you wonder,
how long was he doing it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, Mosley. I mean, he was with the Barry Bonds. Yeah, the Balco.
Yeah.
He's a Balco athlete. Evander Holyfield. Evan Fields.
James Toney, I think later on got caught with steroids too. James Toney.
I don't know what steroids James was taking. James looked like he's always looked fat. So I don't know.
Right.
He was taking something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the after the Holyfield fight. I think he popped.
I think it was it the Ruiz fight?
Or maybe Ruiz. It was one of the two.
I think it was he fought Ruiz. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
crazy.
I mean, it seems like people are doing stuff, and sometimes they get away with it, sometimes they get caught. Who recently got caught with somebody got caught? Who was it? Was it a light heavyweight guy?
The heavyweight Hellenius got caught.
Oh, Hellenius, yeah.
Hellenius. Yeah,
that's it. The heavyweight Hellenius, yeah, good.
And he was a substitute for somebody that popped.
Yes,
Brazilian White popped. So
right.
Yeah. Right. The two Dominican guys,
Michelle Rivera.
Yeah,
that was.
And then the other one. Yeah. The other one too.
Not Garcia. Was it Garcia popped? No.
I think he was like a world champ. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them.
The one that fought Tank?
No. Not him. No. I forgot the guy's name, but I know he fought on Showtime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know about Michelle Rivera. That was after the Frank Martin fight, and it didn't do no good because Frank Martin washed him.
Right. And same thing like Helenas. Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's definitely it's out there, and I always felt like the science is ahead of the testing. This just and there's so many things that are so close to PEDs. It's like, what's the point? I mean, I understand the reason, but the risk reward and the embarrassment,
right?
has to, I don't know. Maybe the punishment should be stronger. for these guys?
I think it should be.
Yeah,
That'll
I think so.
maybe put a stop to it, completely.
Mm-hmm.
And how about testing? What do you think testing should be like? It should be year long, right? Even if
Yeah,
if
all
you're
the
not
time.
fighting, I mean, they should be.
Periodically, all the time,
Yeah.
man. Just out of nowhere, just be tested all through the year.
Yeah, that's
Especially
probably-
the top guys, all the top fighters, the top ranked, the guys that are ranked,
I wonder if it's coming out with the guys that are not fighting as much though. Like they're trying to, kind of like get rid of it somehow. That's why they don't fight as much throughout the year.
It's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
like the guys that get injured in camp and stuff like that. You mean?
That always brings you kind of think like, he's trying to get it out of the system, and that's why they delayed the fight. It's like
right.
Like Kwee just says, cycling off.
Yeah.
So like,
right.
So I kind of think that sometimes, especially the guys that maybe come from overseas and come over here, or vice versa. Maybe like I don't. But the testing has to be done. I think it should be done. Yearly, like year round, like once a month.
Oh yeah.
Something, like not just, and then even if you're inactive, if you're an active fighter, if you're not fighting actively, but if you're an active fighter that eventually going to fight again, you should be tested unless you're retired, unless you say you're not fighting anymore, you're retired or whatever the case may be. So
I agree, man.
Yeah. So
random question. Did you ever have a relationship with Kenny Weldon? I remember him from the boxing magazine. They would sell videos, learn how to box with Kenny Weldon.
Yeah, we fought for Kenny Weldon, his gym, for maybe a couple of fights when I was an amateur.
Okay.
He's a good trainer, one of the good trainers here in Houston. He recently, he passed a couple of years ago, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He worked a lot. He worked with the Duva camp back. We had when Holyfield was down here, and all those guys, Pernell Whitaker, Terrell Biggs, back in the days.
Is there a rivalry between like Houston and Dallas, or like as far as like when you guys met in tournaments, was there anything like that?
Yeah, like Houston, San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
There's some kind of rivalry. Same thing with with basketball. The Rockets and the Spurs.
Right.
San Antonio, yeah, but I think there's more of a rivalry between Texas and California in the amateurs.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I always felt that way.
Okay.
Texas always had good fighters, and California, back in my days, Texas, Cali, St. Louis,
California,
Missouri,
right?
New York.
Yeah.
All those guys from Brooklyn and the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx.
We're from the Bronx.
Yeah, I'm from the Bronx.
Have you ever been to the Bronx?
There was a guy. Yeah, there was a guy. Man, the guy that I fought in the finals of the Junior Olympics, man, he was from the Bronx. I can't remember his name. That's years ago, 1987. I think his last name was Rivera.
The Bronx.
I can't.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know?
What about Davis was fighting at that time? Was Superman Davis? Is he from the Bronx?
Yeah,
Aaron Davis.
Yeah,
Aaron Davis.
Yeah.
You guys know Dago? Harley? Harley Medeiros? Harley Medeiros. They own a gym in Bed-Stuy, I believe.
That's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, in Brooklyn. Harley Medeiros, and his dad is he was a top amateur fighter. He's pro now. Dago.
No, I don't.
I think Zap used to work out at his gym sometimes, and Tank might go there sometimes. Okay. What about Junior Jones?
Poison. Yeah.
Poison Jones.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Poison Jones. Yeah. The upset when he beat Barrera twice. But that's something. I mean, when a guy he gets your number, but Barrera still was able to bounce back, and have a pretty good career even after that loss. Do you believe that, Raul, that just people, a wrong style, just somebody just has your number, like Tarver and Roy or something like that.
Yeah, I do believe that because even in the amateurs, like who did Vernon beat? Shane Mosley.
Yeah, Shane.
Right.
And Vernon beat Shane in the amateurs, and Vernon beat him in the pros too. Just like Shane beat Oscar in the amateurs when they were little still, and he beat him twice in the amateurs too. Bunch of fights like that.
It's just they just have certain guys have your number, I guess.
Yeah.
Styles, and it just proves styles make fights, right?
Were you there when Vernon lost to Costa Zoo in some tournament?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I was in. That was in the finals, I believe, of the 1991 World Championships in Sydney, Australia. Right. I was there. Oscar lost in the finals to the guy that he eventually beat in the finals of the Olympics, the German guy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was there. Yes, I was. Yeah. That's when Costa Zoo, he dominated Vernon, the late Vernon. He was, and that's when he stayed there in Australia and didn't go back to wrestling. Costa Zoo.
What are your thoughts on Tim Zoo?
I think he's a good fighter, man. He's tough. He's old school. He's willing to fight whoever they put in front of him. He wants to prove himself, and he's that kind of guy. Yeah. I was fighting Mendoza. Brian Mendoza was a dangerous fighter. We saw what he did with the Towering Inferno. What's his name?
Fundora, yeah.
Yeah. So I like Zoo. I know he got dropped. Who did he fight? Was it Terrell Gauthier? No, who was it that he fought? He got dropped in the first round. He got back up and took care of business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know
you're talking about. Yeah, I like him. I like he's in your face. He's got power.
He's not shy.
Exciting. He's exciting.
He likes to talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He likes to talk. Yeah. He knows you got to talk, man. You got to talk to sell.
Do you think if Charlo would have ended up fighting Zoo, you think Charlo could have beat Zoo, or how do you think that fight would have panned out?
That would have been a hell of a fight, man.
Yeah.
A lot of pride there, especially with Charlo, and I think Zoo would have tested his chin, and they would have tested each other. I think it would have been fireworks.
I think the lead up to the fight would have been great because they both talk. Because Zoo likes to talk, so that would have been great.
Yeah, the face off and all that for sure. There would have been a lot of pushing and shoving and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, and those usually make out to be the best kind of fights,
Yeah,
I mean I like them to be respectful, but I don't want them to be hugging and everything like that. You're about to get into a fight.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's people want to see action, man. They want to see blood. They want to see knockouts. They want to see people get hurt.
Yeah. Does that mess with your psyche when somebody's like really nice to you, like before a fight? Does that? I mean, does it matter? No, like as a fighter.
Nah, I don't think it matters.
No?
It's just about staying focused, and it's about what you believe, and believing your team and how camp went. Staying relaxed in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anyone that got under your skin that like it was almost personal, even in the amateurs? There's somebody like, I don't like this dude, or
I want to say just you guys remember when I fought Fernando? Man. Fernando was crazy, man. He was young. He was young and mad at the world.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that's about it. No one else.
Mm-hmm. No one else.
I mean, he spit on Ross Thompson.
Yeah, Ross Thompson, the boss.
Yeah, that's a funny dude too.
Yeah.
He's not from He's younger, right? He's from the next class, right? He's from '96.
Who's that?
Ross Thompson.
No. Ross is from my time.
He is? Okay.
Yeah, he tried to make the team, and who beat him? I don't remember who beat him at 147. But he was at the Olympic trials. Pepe Riley was at my Olympic. Pepe Riley was the guy at 147 that made the Olympic team. But yeah.
Was there a guy either from your era or a little bit before or whenever that you just like say to yourself, how this guy didn't make it bigger? Like someone that's like a wasted potential.
You know what? I'm gonna bring up this guy named Hector Colon. He was a really good amateur. He beat a lot of good guys in amateurs. 139 pounder. and he just, I don't even think he went pro, man. He fought. He beat. Who did he beat? Did he fight Vernon and beat Vernon maybe too, or Vernon came back and beat Stevie Johnson maybe, and those type of guys. He just decided to, give himself to religion, God and all that.
Okay.
And he never went pro, man. And he actually does very well. He's in that environment, and he does well financially. Hector was a good fighter.
Is a pastor, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, do you remember where is he from, or?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hector Colon, yeah.
Okay.
Puerto Rican,
yeah.
Yeah.
Good power, yeah.
Okay.
Good guy.
Okay.
What about someone that has like the promotional machine behind them, and a lot of good ink is talked about him, but that you felt like, all right, when the moment of truth comes, the guy that was kind of like of a hype job. Anybody come to mind?
No,
you could talk shit, bro. You could out of us three, you could defend yourselves.
No.
Talk your shit. Talk your shit.
I can't really think of nobody right now, but I mean, we know back in the, you remember Pachito Bojado?
Yes. Yes.
Pachito Bojado, man, he was supposed to be the next great thing, but the party life, the girls, the party life, that got to him, man.
Yeah.
Recently, I can't think of anybody that was getting a lot of hype and then just didn't make it.
What about any prospects out right now that are kind of getting hype? Like there's like what do you think of Xander Zayas? Like he's got a nice little backing right now. He's
a good fighter. I think he's a good fighter. They're Puerto Rican, good boxer, good puncher. Like. He's trying, man. Everybody's trying. Like, I can't say anything bad about him.
Okay. He's the one that comes to mind because he's at 154, I believe. So he's like the same weight.
I mean, he's with the machine. I mean, Top Rank, they know how to build up a prospect.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
And he's got the fan base. Is
sure.
Is that like? I mean, obviously, when you win the lottery, like being a Mexican fighter, especially, it's like an instant fan base. Is that from the business standpoint? How fortunate is that to have a Mexican fighter? Because
I think it's. I mean, honestly, I think Mexicans are the biggest fans. I think when they get their champion, their prospect, they get behind them, man. They support them. So I think boxing, Mexicans, they're they love their fighter, man. They support them. They're big supporters of boxing. They love boxing, and when they have a star, they're gonna support them all the way to the end.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like look at the Garcia and Tank fight. Look how many buys that did in comparison to.
Oh yeah. Well, on top of that, I mean, Tank is he's becoming a bit of a household name, but Ryan Garcia also because he's a social media guy, man. He's a social media star.
Yeah.
Right now, everything, man. A lot of these social media guys, like look at the Paul brothers, like all the followers they got and the kind of money that they make.
Yeah.
I mean, good for them, man. I can't be a hater. I mean, good for them. I support them. I mean, because they never had no amateur background or anything like that, and for them to go in there and make pay-per-view events and to draw, the crowds that they draw. I don't know how much pay-per-views they sell, but they make a lot of money. I know that.
And they're paying their fighters. They're paying the people.
The undercard. The people on the undercard get paid.
Yeah.
Well, look what they did for Amanda Serrano.
Giving her bonuses and all that. I mean, Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
she's not making that money anywhere else.
right,
Right.
right.
So it's great. So any prospects you see now that you're looking forward, besides your son, of course, that may
Giovanni Marquez, man. That's all I want to talk
Giovanni
about.
Marquez.
That's it.
Giovanni Marquez, 6-0, 4 knockouts.
Maybe you bring him on one day, and we could chop it up.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
That'd be awesome. I mean, this was definitely awesome. It was good, experience. Great talking with you. I appreciate you giving us this time. We know your time is valuable. You know what I'm saying? So, this was awesome.
I appreciate it, man. And yeah, I got boxing. We got a class tomorrow called Boxing for Breakfast. So,
wow.
I own a boxing.
You own a gym?
Yeah, I own a boxing fitness gym, and the only guy that I trained, is Giovanni. But
what's the name of your gym?
Raul Marquez Boxing.
Oh, okay.
That's a great name.
Yeah. So I just train people for fitness and kids that want to learn the basics, that kind of stuff. I do private lessons, and me and Giovanni kind of run it.
That's awesome.
And that's in Houston, correct?
Yeah, it's in here in Humble, Texas, but right here by the airport.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction why I think your son's going to be successful, because a lot of fathers that train their fighters, train their sons rather, I think and even in other sports, they almost try to live their life through their son, and it creates an animosity. And you're somebody that's already been there. You know what it is to be a world champion.
Right.
And like you said, no one's going to have a better interest for them, for your son than you.
Right.
And
we got to remember, this is a new generation now. My son's 22, and I have an open mind. I'm open to his opinions or his whatever he thinks, and we talk about it, and we might agree or disagree to agree. We talk about it. So I'm open about different things that he does. It's not like I'm old school and it's my way or the highway. I'm open to his whatever he has to say and thinks he should do, or if he wants to be flashy and puts his hands down and it works, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Oh, it's interesting.
Yes.
And you've seen it. You've seen a lot. I mean, I'm not going to say you've seen it all, but you almost seen it all. I mean, you're covering a lot of different fights as well. As well as you being in the ring, you've seen so many fights. I mean,
I've been doing like I said, I've been doing broadcasting for 26 years now. 26 years, and I've been with Showtime for 11 years. And I can tell you, man, I covered Manny Pacquiao's fights, Floyd Mayweather's fights, Roy Jones, Holyfield, Canelo Alvarez, Morales, Barrera. I covered so many fights, man. Floyd Mayweather. I've been around. I covered a lot of big fights, man.
Yeah.
And then being with Showbox, covering guys that, how that series, there's been like 90 fighters that came out of there and went out to become world champions. Those guys are hungry, man. It's very interesting when you cover those guys, man. They really go at it. They're really hungry, and they're trying to move up in the boxing world and make it to the big time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I covered all kinds of fighters, man. Prospects, up and coming guys, Olympians, world champions, superstars that are, big, like I said, like Mayweather and Canelo and Pacquiao. You name it.
That's awesome.
Showbox has been, I know that's what you guys sell it, but so many great fighters have come through there. I mean, I first saw Ricky Hatton on Showbox.
My son debuted on Showbox too.
Really? Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Giovanni debuted on Showbox. So
Joan Guzman.
Yeah.
I think, does Ishe Smith have the record, I think, of the most appearances?
Yeah, I believe so. Something like that. Like 6 times, 6 times, yeah.
Ishe Smith, Paulie. colleague, who I think should still be on TV, but I don't want no smoke with Espinoza. He'll cancel my next credential request.
El Jefe. Yeah.
El Jefe.
That's it, man.
Yeah. I like Paulie. I'm biased. I know Paulie for a long time.
Yeah, I like Paulie too. He's a great guy.
He's good at his job too.
Oh, absolutely, man. Really good.
Yeah. You should be on the #1 team, by the way.
Yeah.
I say it on Twitter all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
And I tell Sock all the time whenever we watch the fights.
And I'm not blowing smoke up your ass because you're here and
right, I understand.
The favor. I think Showtime needs to do something about that. So at the end of the
they still have Márquez, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I'm not.
He's a nice guy.
He seems like a nice guy. Yeah.
Very nice guy. He's a great guy.
Very nice guy.
Yeah. I think you do better than Márquez by far, but
thank you.
Yeah. and unless you could give us Márquez's phone number, you get him on the show next week, and he'll be saying,
yeah.
Well, Abner, his eye, he had a break. It wasn't a retina, right? It was something like you said, the cornea abrasion, was it?
No, I think it was detached retina a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can go on and when you go speak to your fellow people there in Texas, you could tell them that you had a conversation with two people from the Bronx that didn't really say that they were from the Bronx, but
right.
You could tell them that you met two nice guys that didn't brag about where they were from.
Right.
Which is the Bronx, right?
Right. I'm from the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx. Where you from? Oh, I'm from the Bronx. Okay. I used to like that, man. I said, oh, I love it when you're from the Bronx. I'm gonna whip your ass, man. Anyway, it's all love. It's all love, man.
Nah, of course.
Well, now,
New York as a whole.
More shit. New York is a California in the amateurs. Who is the most shit talkers?
Man, New Yorkers, bro.
Eric Kelly. You know Eric Kelly?
Yeah.
Eric. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Eric Kelly.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
But usually the ones that talk the most shit from New York are guys from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, Brooklyn. Yeah.
The Bronx guys don't really talk anyway.
You're right, man.
Yeah. The fans from the Bronx are pretty bad though.
Right.
Not that much.
Right.
Especially the Puerto Rican ones.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, guys.
Yeah. But
I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you guys. What I gave you an hour and 18 minutes.
You really did. That was a big donation.
But it was fun. It was
cool. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. If it was early, hey, listen. If it was earlier, we could talk a lot more. If it was earlier,
definitely. Maybe we could set something up an earlier time. But honestly, you popped my cherry. This is my first interview with a pro fighter. Someone of importance in the boxing world. So. Thank you for that. This was great.
Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime. If I have time, I'll make time. Whatever, I'll figure it out. But thank you for having me on.
Yeah. And I have a few guys that from in the YouTube community. They do boxing content, and they maybe I'll have them on. They have good questions, and we could have a whole big conversation. So
yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But once again, I appreciate you. Thank you, Sock, for introducing me to this legend here. I appreciate you.
All right, we do. Raul, thank you. Have a good night.
Hey, have a good night. Anytime, guys. Keep in touch. All right, my man. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye. Yeah, good night. Let's see.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Hold up. All right. There he goes.
Cool. The boxing segment is in the books.
Yeah, he's in the back. Oh, there he goes. Okay. But yeah, that was cool. That was great. We have some people in here. I got to learn how to flow with the chat and the interview at the same time. I've seen people do it. They do it great. I got to learn how to do that. Or maybe I give you total control and you do it. Maybe you might be able to segment it because some people have some good questions. I try to put on the screen, made some good comments and stuff like that. But this was dope. This was a good experience. He dropped some gems on us, right? So.
A Diamante dropping gems. Maybe we should have that segment. You know,
What do you mean, like
a Diamante dropping gem?
Diamante? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
But that was dope. I mean, thank you, 86 Boxing. Salute to you, bro, for coming through. You know, he does boxing content as well. He does a lot of old school stuff and matchup. He does his channel's pretty cool.
Salute 86. Thanks for the support.
Dwayne D. Free was in here as well. You know, he's up in here. He had a question. You know, next time I'll probably have him up. You know, D. Free does good boxing content. You know, he does, you know, we like to talk shit in football and sports as well. You know, Gabe was in here. Thank you, Gabe. Salute to you as well. You know, we have some people in here, you know. My boy William Old School was up in here. You know, salute to you, bro. Appreciate you. You know, we saw Kwee was up in here. You know, so, you know, she's not too far from Marquez. You know, her and Gabe, they're in Texas. They're in Dallas, the Dallas area. You know, so we had some people in here. K-Rod was here earlier. Salute to K-Rod. K-Rod does, you know, boxing content. He knows I think he's spoken to Ofacio before.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to have K-Rod on one day. K-Rod knows boxing and he does content, and you know, I think he's out in Florida right now. So he goes to some of the shows out there. I believe there's a show tomorrow night in Florida. There's a boxing card. I'm not sure if he's going to it, but I know there is a card there. But this was cool, man. This was pretty dope.
Yes, it was. Nice experience. Mm-hmm.
Great experience for me. You know who we really got to get on as well. I think talking about segments, it'd be nice to have like we just like limit it to like maybe 15, 20 and have, you know, our guy Pedro on because he has the greatest stories in the world. But the thing is just try to limit him to only stop there, right? Because he can go
Pedro
on.
Fernandez.
Yeah,
the longest Ring Talk, the longest running program, boxing radio program.
Yeah, almost 40 years, right? Knocking out all bums, he says.
Knocking out all bums.
Yeah, so that was dope. I guess we can go from there. We can finish up. You know, next week the season starts. Football, right? We'll go from boxing to football. NFL starts next Thursday. We could fit. We have to still do the NFC West and the AFC West over as we do that, and then maybe we can talk a little fantasy as well, and then we could end it. I mean, we did go a long time. I wasn't expecting it to be longer than half an hour, so that was pretty good. I mean, you know, very grateful for this opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So, and like, you know, he dropped some good stuff on us, you know, and that's pretty cool. His son is working with champions. He said he's working with Oshaki Foster, who's a champion, Shakur, and he's working with Haney. That's great work. Those are 3 world champions. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we see good things from his son Giovanni. It sounds like he's on his way. I think he's gonna be a good pro. You know, from the sounds of it, he is a great trainer. You know, so. But,
I mean, if he puts in the work and he still maintains that hunger and desire, I think, you know, sky's the limit. You know, he's I don't, you know, he seems like a very humble kid. You know, the little bit that I've seen about him, and I really believe that. You know, a lot of the guys that flame out with their dads in their corner is because they either you know, are living their life through their kid. Or B, they, you know, their ego gets in the way. And Raul has, I mean, a very low key ego. You know, I've been around Raul, and he's a humble dude. You know, he really is.
He is, and
very humble.
You never hear anybody say anything bad about him. Like
never.
The broadcasters were saying, like, and I go back to the Mosley fight, even though it was a no contest, because in that the broadcasters was praising Raul as an analyst, and you know I didn't like that they threw the jab at him that he was always a bleeder, but they made, you know, and then that incident happened with the headbutt, and he was so honest. Like at first he was upset and he thought it was a he did the headbutt on purpose, and he said, you know, now that I look at it, you're right, you know, like, you know. A lot of people don't do that. Like you don't get a lot of people that are humble as him, and you know, and tell the truth, and you know, call it right down the middle, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I feel like he does that, and you know, so.
And I mean, we asked him a couple of questions that it's hard because remember he works for the network, so he has access, and there's a lot of fighters. I mean, obviously, every pro fighter is brave and has a lot of valor to get in the ring. But a lot of them are very sensitive. And if you say the slightest thing about them, you know, they're going to catch a feeling. So You know,
Yeah.
it's you know, if we were talking off the record, he probably would have been maybe more
Yeah.
open. So, you know, and I understand analysts can't really make predictions.
Yeah, and I thought
know.
about that when he said
Yeah.
like he couldn't, and it makes
Yeah.
sense because they're not allowed, because then they're going to be biased in calling the fight.
Exactly.
Right? So.
Exactly. You know, it's
But
a
let's
great
go.
combo.
I want to go into this because we take a while sometimes. I don't remember doing the NFC South, and we got William Old School here, who is a Saints fan. So
That's
we'll
right.
do the NFC South.
My guy,
We'll do
DC.
We'll do the NFC South. We'll start there, and then we'll do both West. And we'll start it off with the New Orleans Saints. They have your old quarterback, by the way, William. I don't know if you know this. Sock is a Raiders fan, is a Raider fan. That's and of course, your quarterback was his quarterback. So the Saints over under 9.5 wins for the season. What do you think? Over or under?
Over
9.5.
And it's not so much the talent on the roster, which I think is a talented roster. Olave is top 10, 12 wide receivers, maybe. I think he's that good.
Yeah.
The upgrade at QB, but also the NFC South is really weak. I think the Falcons are definitely, rebuild. Tampa Bay is, Tampa and Tank. They both start with a T for a reason.
Tank it.
I mean, unless Baker Mayfield could finally, he's got some great receivers, but I just don't see much there. So I think 9.5. I think the Saints win the division 10-7 easily.
That's a nice pick. I'm going to say over as well. At first, if we did this last week, I probably would have said under. But it's funny. We did a show this past Tuesday on D Free's channel, and we went over the schedule of certain teams because we had K Savoy, who's a Saints fan, and then I did the Seahawks. D did his Commanders. So we went through the schedule and said win or lose for each game. And when we went through the Saints schedule, I found myself giving the Saints 11 wins. Now, mind you, we don't know how teams are going to, pan out. I believe it was 11. I could be wrong. And people thought I was crazy. But their schedule looks really easy in the beginning, too. Like, they look like they have an easy schedule. And like you said, the South is a pretty weak division. So I gave the Saints 11 wins, picking – this game they win, maybe a loss, but
the Panthers starting the rookie QB, and the guy in Atlanta is basically a rookie because he barely played last year.
Yeah.
So and Baker, I mean he's got good receivers, but I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan.
Yeah.
Although he did crush my Raiders playoff chances last year, and Derek Carr probably played the worst game he played all year, but But Baker makes good commercials.
Baker, I guess so.
He makes good commercials. Let's say that.
But the Saints is the thing with the Saints that worry me if I'm a Saints fan is their defense is usually pretty good every year.
Yes,
but
and they have a defense
getting older. They're getting older.
Right.
That would be my concern. But as a team, they added Williams from Detroit. All he does is score touchdowns, right? Like he's the goal line guy. Mm-hmm. He'll probably start the first 3 games with Kamara suspended. Carr has looked good in the preseason. You spoke about Olave. Michael Thomas, if he stays healthy, maybe he doesn't have a step or two, but he's still a good receiver. He's a good target. He catches the ball well. I mean, and isn't Jimmy Graham like they say
what round in your fantasy football league did Michael Thomas get drafted?
Yes, he did. I think I drafted him in one league. Yeah, he got in like the mid rounds. Like people did draft him. Yes. So, but so I mean, I picked them to win the division as well, and I like the over. I'll go right now to the next team. We'll go to the Carolina Panthers. The over/under for the Panthers 7.5. What do you think? 7.5. I'll lead it off. 7.5 wins for the Panthers. I think the defense is pretty solid, but like
they were competitive last year.
That's the thing. The rookie quarterback, the running game. I don't know. I think they could win 8 games. I think they could win 8 games. I'm gonna take the over. 7.5 is low. Out of a 17-game season, 8 and 9. that sounds about right for the Panthers. Defensively, I think they're pretty solid. I like
They
the
lost
over.
DJ Moore. DJ Moore is a problem.
DJ Moore is good. He's on was he on the Bears now?
The Bears.
The Bears. What do you think? Over or under?
I'm gonna say 7-10 for the Panthers this year. So
that's under. Okay.
Under.
Then we'll go to let's go to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, 8.5 wins. They're an interesting team in a bad division.
Now they may have the best player in the division, in Robinson, right?
The rookie,
the running back.
The running back is
that ninja's the truth.
he is pretty good.
He's going to be a top 5 running back this year, but heavy workload. You're going to burn him out. Pitts, is he healthy? The tight end.
He is healthy. He's supposed to start off. Pitts
is a beast. Yeah. But it's the guy throwing the rock.
The quarterback. Yeah.
My guys over there too. Is Patterson? Is he still there?
Yeah, but I think he's hurt. I don't know if he's going to be there week 1. He's still there, but he's hurt. He's banged up. Yeah.
I'm going to say 8 and 9.
8 and 9, so that's an under. 8 and 9, and I'm going to be with you there. I'm taking the Falcons under. I don't know if that quarterback is going to be starting halfway through the season. I don't.
And the backup is Heineke, right?
It's Heineke, yeah, from Washington. Yeah, I'm going with the under 2. I don't know much about the Falcons. The running back is really good, and they run the ball pretty well because when Patterson comes, Patterson can play anything, right? He plays receiver, plays running back. I'm going to go under. They have a good tight end. And then the Bucks. The Bucks is an interesting team because we know it's Baker now, right? The backup quarterback, I would like to see him get a shot. The kid from Florida, Kyle Trask, I would like to see him get a shot. He throws a good ball. The receivers is good. Godwin, Evans. The offensive line seems to be pretty steady. They got the who's the running back now? Is it White? The running back over there. He played well the last few games of the season.
Let me ask the smartest man in the world.
Oh, would that be Mr. Google? Yeah, I believe is it Rashad White?
We have, according to the worldwide leader in sports, the depth chart is Rashad White.
Rashad White, yeah, I was right. Okay.
And Chase Edmonds, he's a good player, but he's never healthy. And Keyshawn Vaughn and Sean Tucker.
Yeah, but Rashad White ran the ball pretty well last year. So
from Arizona State.
Yeah, that's why I remember the name. I'm glad I got the name right. But yeah, so then I was talking about the same guy. So he's a solid.
Yeah.
The over-under 6.5 wins. But you think they're going to tank?
I think, yeah. I mean, the Brady effect, right? I mean,
yeah.
But, I mean, Mike Evans, Godwin, they're ballers. You know?
Evans on a contract here, I believe, but he's hurt to start.
Yeah, he's hurt. Yes,
he's got a groin issue, which is that's a very bad injury for any skill player, right? Receiver, running back, and he's a wide receiver with a groin injury.
I mean, they got players on defense still. Shaquille Barrett is one of the best players in the league.
Yep.
Antoine Winfield Jr. is very good. I don't know. I think the Brady effect and I think it's going to be very easy to get Tampa Bay Buccaneers tickets this year. It's not going to be like it's been the last couple of years.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm going to go under. I think they look for any reason to like bench. Yeah, I think they look for any reason to bench Baker and let the kid Trask play. See what he does.
I think they'll give him 4 games because he was named the starter for a reason. Because the kid is not up to speed yet. I think they'll give Baker at least 4 games.
4 games? That sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
So but they definitely got to look at the kid because if they do tank, you got to see what quarterback you're looking to get.
The Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
Yeah, pretty much. Which we pretty much know that, and Arizona will probably be one of those teams in the running for that. I don't think they're going to be a good team. So that wraps up the NFC South. We'll go to now to the AFC Conference, and we'll do the AFC West. Let's start off with my former quarterback, and his team, Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos, with a new coach.
Let's ride.
Yeah, let's ride. Let's ride. Let's ride.
Yeah.
The Broncos, 8.5 wins, over or under?
I'm going to say under, because I think it's a really good division, and I don't think the Broncos are one of the better teams in that division. And that's no hate. I just think that they're not as good. I mean, I think people are going to get fat off the Broncos, number one. Number two, the trend of the coach that retires and comes back into action doesn't end well.
Yeah.
That's
a very good point.
It doesn't really end all that well. Although Gruden was starting to right the ship, but he had more losses than wins. I'm trying to think who else. Joe Gibbs went to the playoffs, but then I think and then he went back to NASCAR. Who else?
Let's go back. What about from the Cowboys that he
Parcells?
No, before him.
The real goat.
Did he? No. We'll go before that. Was it Ditka? Ditka was the one that
Mike Ditka. Yes.
Yeah.
Terrible with the Saints.
Yeah.
It doesn't pan out well for some reason. Now maybe Sean Payton is the exception. I mean, obviously he left New Orleans because they had a lot of cap trouble, and he really, the cupboard was kind of empty. I'm going under. Yeah.
Under. Did Johnson from the Johnson, the coach of the Cowboys, did
Jimmy?
Did he go to the Dolphins?
Jimmy, yeah, but it was when he had the falling out with Jerry Jones.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't think he ran. I think
that's why I was thinking of him, but he didn't retire.
In the playoffs, he might have taken a year off, but he did at least go to the playoffs a couple of times
with the Dolphins. Okay, so that's it. But Ditka was one.
But Ditka was horrible over there.
Yeah,
traded the whole draft for Ricky Williams.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
86 boxes says Gibbs. Gibbs was in.
I said Gibbs.
You did say Gibbs? Okay, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. I said Gibbs. I mean, he did go to the playoffs. Didn't he go to the playoffs against the Bucks? I want to say.
I don't remember, to be honest. I don't even want to say yes or no because
help me out.
You might be right. You might be right. Hold on, it's D Freeze there. He's coming on. He's a Redskin Commander fan. What's good, D Free? What's going on, bro?
What's going on?
Pleasant evening, sir.
What's going on?
Joe Gibbs took out of the playoffs when he came back, didn't he?
What's that?
Joe Gibbs took Washington to the playoffs once, right? When in the comeback.
Are you talking about when he came back?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Right.
Okay. Okay.
The quarterback. Who was it? Was it not Campbell? Was it?
It was Mark Brunell.
Right.
That's right. Okay.
Santana Moss was there, right?
Yep. That's when we had Santana Moss, and that was the year that we beat the Cowboys with that last second. We scored 2 touchdowns in like 30 seconds.
Okay. And I think you mentioned that too Tuesday too, which is crazy.
Yep.
And you played the Bucks in the playoffs, right?
Yep. No. It was it the Bucks? It was either the Bucks or the Seahawks. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been the Bucks. Yeah, it was the Bucks. It was.
Yeah, I know all Seattle playoff losses. And
it was the Bucks.
Mostly the Rams.
At first it was the Seahawks. We couldn't get over the hump with the Seahawks, and then once we got past the Seahawks, it was the Bucks. We couldn't get over the hump with the Bucks.
Yeah, did the Bucks beat us in the playoffs one year? See, now I don't remember. I don't remember losing to the Bucks in the playoffs.
No. It wasn't. Y'all didn't lose to the Bucks. It was every time we made it to the playoffs before we got a chance to play against the Bucks, we lost to y'all. And then the year that we played the Bucks, y'all didn't make it to the playoffs, and we played the Bucks like two consecutive times that we went to the playoffs. We played against the Bucks. It was first. It was 2 times against Seattle. That's when y'all had Sean Alexander as the running back. We couldn't get past y'all. And then after when y'all didn't make it, y'all had a rebuild season.
Yeah.
We ended up facing the Bucks, and we couldn't get past the Bucks.
Yeah, it was the year before we made the Super Bowl that year, and the year after I don't think we made the playoffs. Yeah,
right.
We played Washington and Carolina. Seattle had the best record. Yeah. So okay.
Man, but did you? I was telling Coach Joe a couple of minutes ago. Washington their stadium is already sold out. We ain't got no tickets available.
That's dope. I expect good things. We went over the record with them, the schedule, and I was being honest. I keep it down the middle. It's no hate. If they lose, I hate because that's what we do. But I had the Redskins with a winning record. I think I gave them 10 or 11 wins. Basically. Yeah,
I had them at 13-4. You had the Seahawks at 13-4.
Yeah, and even I was like, that's bullshit. There's no way. But it's easy to do it when you look at the schedule, say they're winnable games, but you're going to reach games that you think that you're going to win, like the obvious games you get upset.
So. I think this might be the first time that Washington has a sold out game since they've been at FedEx Field.
Wow.
That I can remember is definitely the first one that I can remember. If it was one before then, it might have been when we first got there. I can't remember one as a recent history that we had a sold out stadium, and it's 95% all Washington fans because I don't know no Arizona fans. I know there's going to be some there, but most of them is traveling. They're not from the area.
And that's a bad team. You better not lose that game.
No, they gave.
You're gonna get cooked on these YouTube streets. You lose.
Like I told Coach Joe, if we lose to Arizona, we got a sold out stadium the first game. If we lose to Arizona, we'll be lucky if we get 25 people in the next game.
Anybody that does like a knockout pool, that's definitely the one.
They literally
that's definitely the pick of the week.
No, they literally either benched or got rid of everybody that can make an impact in this game.
Yeah.
They don't have nobody. When I say nobody, I think they coming out there with their like 4th string quarterback.
I don't even know who's starting quarterback.
Is Colt McCoy?
Huh?
No, they got rid of Colt McCoy. They released him. They released Colt McCoy because Colt McCoy was the backup. Kyler Murray is not playing. Colt McCoy was the backup. They released him, and the 3rd string, I think he's backing up the 4th string that's starting.
I know Washington will be one of my teams I pick in my pool for the first week, and then probably in the knockout pool as well.
If y'all was playing Survivor, Washington better be the first game, y'all.
Yeah, it has to be. That's why if Washington loses that game, oh my God.
You getting cooked, like AB says. You getting cooked.
I wasn't gonna call the game, but because it's a sold out game, I gotta call it. I don't recall the last time we had a sold out game, so I gotta call that game. I wasn't gonna call it. I was just gonna watch the game and then come on Sunday night to do my live Sunday night. But because it's a sold out game, I'm gonna call it the game. And no, if we lose that game, though, I would not call another Washington game this year. I would not call another one this year.
Well, I think you're going to be safe. I think you'll be calling more games. They should win. But yeah, so all right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna do
that's what it is. Dobbs is the backup.
Dobbs, yeah, that's 86 boxing. Dobbs is the guy started.
But I don't even think he's starting. I think he's backing up the other dude. I think they talking about they might be putting the dude that came off the practice squad. They might be putting him as the starter.
That's crazy.
Who's the coach? Who's the coach for them?
I don't know.
I don't even know who the new coaches.
I don't know who the coach
That's
is.
crazy.
Kyler
So-
Murray, Mortal Kombat's about to drop. Forget you ain't gonna see Kyler Murray. Months.
The new FIFA game coming out, you know, he's got
Yeah.
Madden, I think, just dropped. Yeah, he ain't. Yeah. Holy shit! All right, so the Broncos, you saying under, right? We went with the under 8.5 wins.
Yep. No hate. I just think they not that serious.
Yeah, I got the under too. D3, what do you think? 8.5 wins for the Broncos, over or under?
8.5 wins for the Broncos. They're in the division with the Raiders, Kansas City, and San Diego. Well,
Yeah,
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under.
Okay.
I give them. They probably gonna win 8 games. They're gonna be right under
Right there.
the 8.5.
I can see them being a competitive 8 wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, or let's say, put it this way, a competitive 9 losses. Right. You know.
I don't have faith in Russell Wilson no more.
He did have a big drop. You know, and they just lost Judy for a couple weeks. You know, the guy, the running back's coming off an injury that he was out for the year, Javonte Williams.
And Russell didn't look good this preseason either. He
That's
didn't look
what they're
good.
saying, yeah. I mean, new coach.
They didn't look good at all.
Yeah, doesn't look good for Let's Ride. Let's ride. He went from Go Hawks to Let's Ride. Let's do the Kansas City Chiefs. The over-under is 11.5 wins. Let me put my avatar. Hold on. I'm going to go to the living room. Go ahead.
Are they the highest? There's no other team. There's no team that's 12, right?
No, I think it's them and the Bills were the highest, and the Eagles.
Yeah.
Damn, this is a tough one. Ooh, it really depends on who's the offensive coordinator. Are they going to change the game plan that they normally run and go with something different?
Is Andy calling the plays again?
Did they?
Andy Reid got him from-
Who
Is
they got?
Andy Reid-
Who they got as their wide receivers?
Their wide receivers are banged up because they got Tony, who's always hurt. They got the rookie.
from
They
the
got some
Giants,
rookie
right?
that they're talking highly of. This kid Rice, Sky Moore.
No, I'm a go under. I think they're going to win 11 games. I don't think they're going to win 12. I think they're going to win 11.
Yeah, the Super Bowl champs always have it rough. Everybody's gunning for the Super Bowl champs, and 12.
Valdez Scantling, right?
Yeah, they playing a first place schedule. I'm gonna say under.
Carries, touches.
Sorry, say that again.
They're gonna have a winning season, but it's gonna be like 11-6.
He says if Chris Jones play, he's got the over. 86 boxing. He's got the over. Interesting.
I'm gonna say 11. I'm gonna say they're gonna.
I'm gonna
win
say
11
under
games.
2, just because they're the defending champs. Everybody gunning for them. Last year, there was teams that were playing them tough that weren't really that good, like the Texans and stuff like that.
What was their record last year?
I think they won 12 games last year.
Yeah, I'm going under.
Yeah. All right. Chargers 9.5. That's pretty low, right? 9.5. You thought maybe you should have been 10.
For the Chargers?
Yeah.
Over
9.5 wins for the Chargers. Sock?
I think they're like 10-7. Yeah,
10-7?
I can see that 10-7. But they always underachieve. Yeah, 10-7. I think the biggest liability is their coach. That coach is shaky.
Yeah, he's still young, so he still be doing little bonehead plays.
He thinks he's playing Madden.
Yeah, I think they'll win 10 games. I think they'll win 10.
So they've been choking a lot of games. They choked the playoff game, right?
Mm-hmm.
They choked in the playoff game, and they lost a lot of close teams. They lost some close games to some bad teams.
Kellen
Moore's the
Kellen
OC.
Moore, right?
Yeah.
Right, from the old Cowboys.
I call the. I mean, I give that on. I put that on the coach as far as them losing the playoff game, because he's inexperienced in the playoffs. So he was making calls that he shouldn't have been made. They should have been running the ball. He was still trying to air it out. I'm like, what are you doing? You should be running the ball. You got the lead.
Yeah.
But
they have 3 elite guys on defense. I think Khalil Mack could still play. They have Boza, and they got the safety, the guy from Florida State.
But didn't they got a corner that was good? He got hurt last year, like the first game.
The guy from the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
He I mean, a lot of cornerbacks that leave the Patriots never amount to nothing after that. So I don't know how good that guy is.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
I'm gonna go over.
I'm taking the over too. I got high expectations for Chargers. I think they finally get over the hump. I think I'm going to pick them to win a division. Yeah, I'm going to take it that far. I got the Chargers. I think they put it together this year. I think they got talent on both sides of the ball. They got a quarterback who, he didn't play as good as his last year. I think he puts it together. I'm expecting him to have an MVP type season. I like the over for the Chargers. 9.5. I can see them winning 11 games.
Well, I can tell you this is definitely between the Chargers and Kansas City who's gonna win that division, because the Raiders, they ain't doing it, and I don't think the Broncos is doing it neither.
Well, that will lead us to our next team, and I know this was a tough division for my co-host Socrates to do, because he hates every team in the West except for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, 6.5 is the over-under, Sock. What do you have your Raiders doing?
I think if you give points for just losing games within one possession, it'll probably be a 14-win team. They'll find a way to lose games, but I think there's a lot. I'm looking at their roster, especially on defense. I like the moves they made. I think the defense is going to be a lot better, and that's part of the reason that the Raiders have been bad. Haven't been able to. Were so bad last year. The defense.
Yeah.
I think we got the best defensive player in the division, Max Crosby. I like the moves that they made in the secondary. I think the D line is going to be good. Tillery. I think they're 7-10, 8-9. They're mid, just like the Broncos. 7-10, 8-9. They will beat the Chargers once though this year, and probably the game that they play in LA, because that's really a Raider home game. That's more of a Raider home game than when they play in Vegas.
That's a good point, and I think you're right about that.
It's an easy ride for the essays, It's right there.
Who's our quarterback this year?
Jimmy Garoppolo. But we have a good rookie quarterback just in case, who looked good in the preseason, Aiden O'Connell.
You said it's 6.5?
Yes.
I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna say they're gonna win 7 games.
7 games, barely over.
That's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
It's
7
funny
and
with
10.
this team.
And the main reason is because I don't have a lot of faith in Jimmy. I don't have a lot of faith in Jimmy, because he'll play good some games, and then other games he'll play bad, and then he'll end up hurt for half the season. So you don't know what you're gonna get with Jimmy.
And the coach.
Yeah. That's the thing with Jimmy G. He can't stay healthy, but it's funny, this Raider team let's look at the division. Let's not look at the whole National Football League. They have the best receiver in the division, right? Mm-hmm. They're the best, maybe the defensive player in the division. Mm-hmm. Crosby could very well be the best defensive player in the division. And do they have the best running back in the division? Because Eckler is up there, because Jacob signed, right? So there are 3 big position players, and 6.5. They got my boy from Notre Dame at the tight end, my man Meyer, who is, he was a great tight end in college. I expect him to transition well in the pros. You know what I'm saying? He's athletic. He can catch the ball. He's a big guy. I think the Raiders could win 7 games. I mean, I think it's going to be the same as last year. I think you're going to see a lot of close games with the Raiders.
They were competitive.
It's just a matter of they were competitive almost every game.
Right.
So I like the over. I like the over 6.5 for the Raiders, unless somehow they just decide to just tank it, and build for the following year. But we'll see. But I think this team is solid. I think 7 wins is fair, and it could be more. Close games. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
All right, let's close the show with the NFC West. We'll start off with what seems to be the worst team in football. This over-under is tough. 4.5 wins for the Arizona Cardinals.
Under.
Under 4.5. Wow. It looks like under. They don't look like a good team at all.
They tanking their season, though.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, they tanking their season.
They should. Sock?
This is one of the worst rosters I've seen in a long time. So I'm going. I got to go under, way under.
And I have to go under as well. I think this is just a team that's put there to just lose.
I think two wins.
Yeah. Guys that are hurt are not even going to play. Like they're
I'd be surprised if they get 2 wins. I'd be surprised if they get 2 wins. I don't see no talent on their roster at all.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yesterday I did a draft live, and there's a 49er fan there, and every year we talk shit as usual in the draft, and we take a picture together, and then he was saying, "Yo, watch these fuckers. The Cardinals beat the Niners or Seahawks at least once, and they always do it." And I was like, I don't see it. They'll probably end up beating Seattle at least one game.
No, they not.
But with that said,
Kyler Murray don't want to play. I mean, Kyler Murray is that talented that when he wants to play, he could take over a game.
Yeah.
But he usually has somebody to help him. He ain't got nobody.
Right. I mean, how many carries is Connor going to get this year?
Yeah. He's going to be. They're going to have to use him. He's going to be the workhorse.
Yeah, and they have no one on defense.
No, they got O'Connor as their running back, and he is not a big time running back like that.
Nah, I never thought he was either. Even when he was with Pittsburgh, I never thought he was.
I don't. Yeah, they stink.
All right, let's move over to the other bad team in the division, the Los Angeles Rams, 6.5.
Who that?
Huh?
No, we're not talking about the Saints.
The Los Angeles Rams, 6.5 wins.
Oh, they're gonna go over. They'll go over. They'll find a way to go over.
Yeah, I feel like you like the Rams a little bit.
It just they automatically got 2 wins from Arizona. Automatic.
That's true.
Okay, on that the math. They have talent,
Yeah, but they already Cooper Kupp is already hurt with the hamstring. He may not play week 1.
Yeah, but we got 18 weeks.
That's true. But that means they got, remember, over 2 wins, you got to find 5 more wins, right? They got to get to 7 to be over. They got to find 5 more wins.
They still got Akers.
They'll find 5 wins. They'll get 5 wins. They're going to split. They're going to split at least one with the 49ers.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They never beat the Niners. Even when they're good, they couldn't beat the Niners.
They're going to beat the Niners this year at least once.
I would hope we beat them twice, but they'll probably split with Seattle.
They might split. They might split with y'all as well.
They got the best defensive player in the division.
When he wants to play. Because I don't know. They be talking retirement, want to play, He is going to play, but yeah, you're right.
I'm
going under with the Rams, 6.5. Sock, you got over under?
I'm with Free. I mean, I look at their roster. I mean, to me, it all depends on Stafford. If Stafford is healthy, I think that team wins 7 games at least. Cooper Kupp, him and Cooper are just attached to the hip.
But that's a problem. I mean, how many times
Akers
he
is
forces
very
the
good.
ball to him every time?
He does. Akers is still I think is a good running back. He's
Another guy that
healthy,
gets hurt a lot.
if he's healthy, they still got Higbee, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah,
decent tight end. He's
not. Then the receiver they signed from Chicago. Is he still there, Robinson? Remember they signed a receiver. He was supposed to be really good.
I think he is. Still there.
Yeah, he signed a big contract. The Rams were supposed to be the shit last year.
Watch it come down to the last game of the season for them to get the 7th game, and they gonna go against somebody that don't need to win the game, and they gonna win, and that's gonna be their 7th game that they win.
I feel like it's a division game. It might be against Seattle.
What was their record last year?
The Rams?
Yeah,
that's a good question. I don't know. I have to look that up.
Because they had a lot of injuries last year. And I think they still won like 7 games. Might have won 8.
No, I don't think they won that much because Seattle won. Seattle made the playoffs, winning 9.
The Rams start the season in Seattle.
Yeah.
Then they have a hell of a schedule. At least the first 3 games: Rams, Seahawks, Rams, Niners, Rams, Bengals. Then they go Rams, Colts. So you figure that's a dub.
They're gonna win against the Colts.
Yeah.
Then they play the Eagles. There's probably going to be more Philadelphia fans than Ram fans, even though it's in L.A. Then they get the Cardinals. Then the Steelers and the Rams, same thing. The bandwagon Steeler fans will be in L.A.
Yep.
Rams and the Cowgirls. Rams and Packers. Seahawks and Rams. It's a tough schedule.
I don't think 6.5. I under looks good right now.
Yeah, bro. I think I'm going to flip. I think I'm gonna flip. They play the Giants in the Giants Stadium on December 31st. It's gonna be cold as fuck. I think the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
Yeah.
I still think they're gonna squeeze out 7 games. I don't think they're gonna get more than 7. I think they'll squeeze out 7. I don't think they're gonna get more than that.
So they got the NFC East. Damn, dog. I'm about to take that number back.
They play the whole NFC East. Who they could beat in the NFC East? The Giants?
They got the Cowboys. They got the Giants. I think they're
not beating the Giants in New York, in Jersey.
Yeah, I don't
Danny
see that.
Dimes.
They play against us too. Yeah,
you guys are losing. You guys are gonna lose to them?
Fuck no.
Exactly. They're not winning that either.
But my team is better than most though. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's tough.
My team is better than most. I'm just saying it's gonna be some surprises. That's all I'm saying. The team that we project is going to be that we think is going to be good. They usually never plan out that way. Like Dallas been riding high for a while. Y'all got to remember they just picked up Trey Lance, so it must be something about Dak Prescott that they see that they don't like. Because why the hell they traded a 4th round pick for Trey Lance, and then they just got rid of Ezekiel Elliott. So now you dealing with Tony Pollard and a rookie running back that you hoping that is going to pan out and play good for you. I understand what preseason how he looked, but that's preseason.
He's a small guy. He's a small back. I mean,
and the thing is, with getting rid of Ezekiel Elliott, they lost their best blocking running back.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard. The reason he was coming off the bench is because he can't block.
Yeah.
That's why he's coming off the bench.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
a
what I'm
good
saying.
point.
It's gonna be some surprise team, and then Cincinnati, we don't know what's gonna happen with Joe Burrows.
That's true too. I think even without Joe Burrow, that Bengal team is beating the Rams.
They might not. Hey, I didn't see motherfucking Matt Stafford pull off some remarkable wins that we thought that they was gonna lose, especially in Detroit. There's been a lot of wins that he pulled off in Detroit that I just knew that they was gonna lose.
Well, as long as they lose the first game of the year, I'll be happy. Let's move on to let's do the San Francisco 49ers. The over-under is 10.5.
Oh man. God damn.
10.5. They got the over to be 11. Here's something that's crazy. Minus 160 for the over. That means it's favorite. So they're expecting them to win 11 games.
See, the thing with the 49ers is they be looking like they the team to beat, and then all of a sudden Debo get hurt. They get a couple of people hurt on the defense, and their whole season just turn around. I don't know.
And who hasn't signed yet? Bosa. What's the deal with Bosa?
As far as I know, he's supposed to be coming back.
He didn't sign yet, though. Was he holding out?
But no, I don't think he's holding out. But there's rumors about him being traded.
Yeah, because he wants a new contract.
Right.
I don't understand why you wouldn't give him a new contract. That man's one of the reasons why your defense is the way it is.
Yep.
I mean, he's 25 years old. The Grand Wizard Nick Bosa.
The Grand Wizard, the Red.
I give them Chase Young for Nick Bosa
because he's magical in the field, Tom.
Yeah, he's magical. I
would give them Chase Young for Bosa.
He's part of that clan of great defenders.
Mr. Shelton's a Niner fan, and I think he calls him KKK Bosa.
Hey.
I think he calls him something like that. The Grand Wizard. If he's not here listening now, because he was here earlier, I'm definitely texting him that. After
he's not
show.
A pitcher. That would be good.
But I will. Shit. Damn. I'm gonna say under. I'm gonna say under.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm gonna say under.
What are you, Sock?
I'm gonna go over. I think they have a good coach, a good play caller. They got a lot of talent. I mean, they got obviously Deebo Samuel. What's the wide receiver? The African dude. He's fast as fuck. Yep.
Ayuk.
He's fast. McCaffrey. I mean. Whoa.
They two stars are injury prone.
It was more than two stars that are injury prone.
I'm just talking about they two main stars, which is Debo and MCM.
And MCM, but also Kittle.
Yeah.
Right?
Kittle.
Bosa seemed a little injury prone too. He's missed some games.
Yeah.
Right? And the backup running back.
Mitchell.
Yeah. They're injury prone. Listen, they got all the pieces. Is Purdy the real deal? I don't know. I don't think so. Purdy, they're supposed to run.
He's starting game one?
Huh?
He's the starter game one?
He is.
Yeah,
that's why they traded Lance. Purdy's the game one starter. And I hear that they're going to try to split the carries with McCaffrey and Mitchell just so they don't overwork McCaffrey because, McCaffrey tends to miss games as well. But you know me. I hate the Niners.
That's the problem that I have with San Fran. They look like the team to beat, and then the injury bug hit them.
Yep. I'm taking the under because of my severe hate for them. And I don't think Purdy's it. I mean, I think Purdy, is in a good situation, but I think Purdy's going to get exposed this year. So I think the Niners are going to go 8-9, and they're going to miss the playoffs, and I'm going to love it. and we're gonna lead. This is gonna lead us right into the team that I believe wins the division.
The Niners used to be my team in the early '90s, so I don't hate the Niners. I'm just more of a Washington fan, but I just don't like the fact that they always have an injury problem. I don't know what it is about the 49ers, but every year they have an injury problem. I don't know what the problem. I don't know if they need to get new medical staff or what, but they have an injury problem in San Fran.
Well, I have no sympathy for them if it does happen. I just want to make that clear. I have no sympathy for any of them.
I'm gonna take the under until they can get over that injury bug. I don't see them winning a lot of games because they're gonna be missing their starters for a good portion of the season. It's gonna be at least 3 or 4 games. They're not gonna have MCM. They're not gonna have Debo. Kittles might not play as well. It's gonna be about 3 or 4 games where they ain't gonna have all those guys on the field at the same time. So
I forgot about Kittle. Wow.
Kittle's another injury-prone guy. So
yeah,
listen,
Kittle hasn't been the same since he got injured. He hasn't been the same tight end.
Last year, the last few games last year, he went on a tear.
Yeah, he's been good, but he ain't been the same as he was before he got injured. Before he got
the whole year, exactly. Yeah,
before he got injured, it was between him and Kelsey, who was the best tight end in the league. And then all of a sudden he got injured, and he ain't been the same. Now it's Kelsey and Andrews, who's the best tight end in the league.
Yeah,
I think he's a lot better than Andrews.
I
think
Kittle's more of a
blocking
tight end anyway. Like he's a more physical guy.
He's got more game.
Kittles remind me of a new age Jeremy Shockey. That's what he remind me of. A new age Jeremy Shockey.
I think he's better than Shockey.
You think Kittle is better than Andrews?
I think so.
No.
And when they're healthy?
Yes. When he's healthy, yeah. When he's healthy.
I think he's got more game.
As of right now, I don't think he's better than Andrews, but before he got injured, I thought he was better.
That's fair. I think it's close. But then again, I'm biased. I just can't stand him. Andrew does got great hands. You're correct. 86 boxing.
Yeah.
Kittle's more physical. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good point. Shockey was the same way. Shockey likes contact. Shockey, was a football player, right?
Yep.
Kittle's kind of the same way. No, I get it. I just have a little bias and hatred for the Niners. So, and the reason for that is leading us to the next team.
And another thing, Kittles is much faster too.
He's got more game. Yeah. If they did a tryout, Kittles would blow him away.
What's the over and under for the Seahawks? I gotta hear this.
Seahawks is obviously lower than the 49ers, and it's no half. It's a straight 9 games, 9 wins for the Seahawks. Over or under? I'll start with the hater, D-Free. Let us know. Over under 9 wins for the Seahawks.
I'll see the Seahawks winning like 3 games. It all depends on how the fuck Geno plays. If Geno play like he played last year, I could see them winning between 9 and 10 games. But I don't know if Geno's going to take another step forward or if he going to regress. He was just trying to fight for a starting position. I don't know. Because I seen this from Geno before when he got with the Jets. He had that one good season, the first season, and then that man went downhill after that. I'm going to have to call a draw. I'm going to say they win 9.
Right. Okay. It's a push. Sock?
I see the Seattle Seahawks getting back to the playoffs, so therefore they will win 10 games at least. I think listen, football to me, a big part is coaching. I think Pete Carroll, those guys play for him, I think the defense is revamped. They probably have the 2 best wide receivers between Lockett and Metcalf. I I think Gino is not Warren Moon, but I think Gino has found a home in Seattle. I think he's going to ball out again. So I'm picking 10 wins.
Well, I'm probably going to do a video just on the Seahawks. It won't be a live. I'll throw a video, like a prediction on the Seahawks in general, and I'll break it down. But if you hear me talk about the Seahawks, I've said so many good things about them. I like their draft. I like the defense, that the defensive players they added. I like their offense. You know, I like the rookies that they drafted on offense. And every time I speak about the Seahawks, I said it's going to depend on how Gino plays. And even though he had a great, I would say a very good year last year, on a year that nobody expected him to do anything, on a year that Seattle was probably picked to win 4 or 5 games, like me as a Seahawk fan, I still find myself being nervous mentioning him and saying it all depends on Gino. And because the talent is there on offense, they have the weapons. They have 2 good running backs. They got Walker, and now they drafted the kid Charbonnet, who looks good. You know, we have Metcalf and Lockett, and we added a 3rd receiver from the kid from Ohio State, Nick Jigba, who probably won't play the first game. You know, so like they added more, you know, so the offense is there, looks steady. You know, we still got Noah Fant at tight end, who's pretty good. Like, the talent is there. Like, on paper, they look good. 9 wins, to me, it looks like a clear over for me as a Seahawk fan that knows his team. Sock brought up the coach. Pete Carroll's a great coach. Then D. Free brings up Gino, like we've seen this before with Gino, right? So, like, it worries me. I'm obviously going to take the over, and I'll break it down more. But I will tell you one thing that I do not like. That first game is a division game, and it's at home. They're supposed to win at home. It's tough to win in Seattle. But Jamal Adams still hurt, right? The kid we drafted, Witherspoon, he's probably not going to play either, the starting corner. Like, I mean, he's probably the second because Woolen balled out last year as a rookie. That's not good. Jordan Brooks is still hurt on defense, the linebacker. So, I mean, I have my worries and concerns, but this team, to me, you know, when healthy and if on paper they look good, I think they could win 10, 11 games. I'm taking the over. Go Hawks. I'm biased. I don't care what you guys say. Let's go Hawks. That's going to wrap it up for the over-unders, but.
Yeah, that's my whole thing. It's just Gino. Gino is the reason why I didn't say a over, because, like you said, they have everything to be a 10, 11 win team. Yeah. But I just don't know how Gino's going to play.
Yeah. And then you know what happens if Gino doesn't play well and he gets hurt or something. We got fucking Drew Lock. Now, I will say one thing. The first preseason game, he looked terrible. He looked good in the 3rd quarter, but they had him play pretty much the whole game. But terrible. But the 2nd and 3rd preseason game, he looked pretty good. Now, I know it's preseason, but I like the way the ball was coming off. He throws a good ball, and you know, he was making quick throws. He looked good. But then again, like I said, like if something happened to Gino, we have a Drew Lock. So yeah, but that will do it for the over-unders on the NFL wins. This was cool. You know, we did every single team. I think when I do the show on the Seahawks, I'll throw in my personal bets. One of my favorite bets, everybody's getting at me with this, is that I love the Bills to go under and just have a disappointing season. So that'll be definitely one of my bets I take this year. But I'll throw some other ones as well.
You and Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, Stephen, and which is bad, which makes me look bad because he don't know shit about football. So I don't know if you've seen this, D Free. Yeah, D Free. That
excuse me, Tom.
Sock, you posted it, right? It was Stephen A. Smith and Mad Dog. They made the bet.
Chris Russo.
Chris Russo. Did you post it? You was the one that posted, right?
I posted it in our group chat.
They made a bet. Russo is saying, you know, you're crazy. The Bills are going to go over, and Stephen A. Smith took the under. They made a bet. The winner gets to host the other person's show for a week. So it's going to be interesting. Imagine Stephen A. Smith hosting baseball for a week, right? Because he does a baseball show.
They're gonna have the lowest rating ever.
But that was a good bet, and I feel nervous because Stephen A. Smith took the side that I'm betting on. So
I think is it the mush, the kiss of death?
yeah, but yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens. But we've been on for a minute. I think we had a good show today. We had a good interview today with Marquez. Hopefully next week we do something else. But we'll be back at it again. Maybe we'll have somebody else on. We'll talk about something else. The football season will start. We'll talk about the first game, which is Thursday. What was that, Sock?
I said this is like a Marvel movie. 220. We've been on for a minute. The time,
we was on for a while.
Like a Marvel movie.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't expecting to be on long with Marquez. He said like what you said, like 30 minutes maybe. And
it gives an hour and change.
Yeah, and then he said afterwards that we could talk all night long if we do it earlier. So maybe that's something we'll do again, and maybe he'll have his son. We might have his son on, and we'll talk.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll definitely want the extra exposure. Probably close to the fight. You said October he's coming.
Yeah. Was it October? Yeah, October.
Yeah, we'll get him on.
Yeah,
a couple of weeks before the fight.
Yeah, and he dropped some nice little gems there too, which is cool. And I mean, I liked the fact that his son was working with three champs like he sparred with, which is awesome. Like he sparred with Oshaki Foster. His son is sparring, with Haney and Shakur. Like, and Shakur like wanted to use him. Like he specifically said he wanted. So I thought that's good work. I thought that was pretty cool. So. And I told him that maybe next time, we'll have more people up. This was my first interview I ever done with, somebody relevant of, of boxing besides Socrates, of course. This fucking guy. You're the worst, Socrates. But yeah, any last words before we go off? I got a draft tomorrow, a live draft tomorrow. So I got to go to friend's house. They're gonna have a bunch of people.
I got a live draft tomorrow, my damn self at 8:30.
Oh, is that the TWT draft?
Yeah.
In college football.
Oh yeah, more games.
Big game.
Yeah, big
LSU
game.
and Florida State.
Yeah.
Hey,
first big game of the year.
How about the Notre Dame?
And that's something we all agree on. We all like Notre Dame here.
They look real good.
I mean, the running backs look good, except that one dude. I text you about him. He stayed fumbled.
He had that fumble.
Oh my god! And he fumbled a lot last year too.
Yeah, but
I forgot his name. I text you his name.
I did not expect them to be Navy like that, because Navy usually have a pretty decent team, even though it's not a college that you would think for football or whatever. But they have a pretty decent team. But I did not expect Notre Dame to run all over them like that.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either. I mean, like I said, we know it's Navy, so we can't. And then they're not playing really a good team tomorrow.
They play Tennessee State.
Yeah, Tennessee State. Oh my God, them boys, they put it on UConn the last night.
Yeah. And then Central Michigan, and then the big one, Ohio State, on September 23rd. But they're coming to South Bend, baby.
So last year was in Ohio State?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
All right. That's the game we got to win. I can't stand Ohio State.
Yeah, I got to rub that shit in on Coach Joe. Because we should have won that game last year.
Yeah, oh my God.
And then we got USC October 14th.
Yep.
Once again, they come to South Bend.
And we definitely would have won if we would have played the other quarterback, like I said from the beginning.
Yep, because the quarterback was shit. And the defense was keeping us in the game, but there's so many times you could go, like, you could hold them, and then your offense is going 3 and out and turning the ball over.
The fucking head coach decided to put the other quarterback in like 4 games later, and he balled out. I'm like, no, you should have played him from the beginning, like I said.
For a lot of haters, what team plays this many top 10 teams? Ohio State, USC, Clemson. Come on, man. How can you hate on Notre Dame? Clemson, USC, Ohio State.
And who else they play? They play other ACC teams.
And NC State is a good team.
Yeah, NC State's pretty good. They might be ranked when we play them. You never know.
They play Pitt. Pitt is normally a solid team.
Yeah.
And Wake Forest was good last year, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, we got their quarterback now, so.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. D, I don't know the draft. I'm not in that draft because I just can't do it with these guys. I tried to set up a league, but they didn't. Nobody wanted to answer whatever.
How many spots you got open in your league?
I had only 4, but then BVO started his, and then I don't know what he's doing. I told people to go over there. So
yeah, I went over there, but they didn't set up. They haven't scheduled a draft yet.
You got to talk to BVO and be like, what's going on?
Yeah, because every time I go to that, it sends me to yours because they haven't scheduled a draft yet.
Yeah,
so
it's the same thing. Yeah, and I think he only has 6 people there too. Like, let me look at it now. I was right. I was in it. Let me refresh it. And because I told Case Avoid to go, he went. So it's only 6 of us there. I told Coastal to go, so he hasn't gone there yet. And Skywalker. So Skywalker and Coastal are mine. So maybe
Coastal he was in a bad car accident last night.
Yeah, I saw the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. So he probably still recovering from the car accident.
Yeah. But yeah, so I know I'm gonna try to touch with them, but I don't honestly I don't know what's going on. Like, it's hard to get in touch with anybody. Nobody's really responding and whatever. But that's something. That's another conversation.
Yeah, if you only got 6 people, we do a 6 people drive. It'd be 3 in each division.
That's gonna be crazy. But let me see. I'll talk. Like I try to. Let me see what I do. I'll try to reach out to some people tomorrow.
I'm gonna reach out to my son. My son be playing fantasy football too, so I'm gonna reach out to my son.
But tell BVO and the other guy to join ours, to join this one, and we could do it. We could do it Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out because we got a live on Monday, I believe. I believe we do our live. Yeah, we got a live on Monday and then Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to BVO Monday and let him know to join him and his man could join our draft, and we'll have it on Tuesday.
Yeah, that would be cool. Right when we talk, do the football live. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's about.
All right, cool. So let me go. William Old School, I know you're an LSU guy, and so is Case Avoy. And I really don't have no beef with LSU, except the fact, as of last year, I started hating on them because our coach went over there, and I didn't like how that went down. So I hate on LSU. But at least I'll be rooting for them week 1 because I hate Florida State. So, but after that, I can't root for LSU until the coach is out of it. I can't do it.
They may have the best defensive play in the nation.
Hey, they're gonna end up hating that coach in about another couple of games. They're gonna end up hating that coach.
Well, they beat Alabama, so that was good for him though last year.
Yeah. He starts off good. He have a good first season, and then it goes downhill.
Yeah.
After that,
he's just not a good game coach. Like he's just. I could go on and on with him. I'm not.
Yeah. Once the teams figure out what type of offense he likes to run and how he plans his games, they're gonna figure him out, and it's gonna go downhill for that. He has the same shit every fucking year. It's the same shit.
Exactly, and his biggest thing, they don't make no adjustments ever. That Notre Dame team, the second half adjustments was irrelevant almost every game. Like it's just, he kills me.
By the book, he
What's
has
up?
a script. He's a guy that he's got a script and he sticks by it.
Yeah. And you can't do that all the time.
Yep.
The coach, the coach for LSU,
Brian Kelly.
Yeah,
Brian Kelly.
He was in Notre Dame, and he was just frustrating. So yeah. But yeah, man. Also, want to say something real quick. I was supposed to say in the beginning, but because we was first time doing an interview, I want to give a shout out to my boy Jose. He gave me permission to use the Bronx logo. I'm going to be promoting, his brand. It's the official Bronx logo. Separate the real from the fake. You know what I'm saying? His Instagram is on the bottom, and his website is www.thebronxlogo.com. Eventually, you'll be seeing me wearing some hoodies and hats representing the logo. But yeah, I want to give a shout out to my boy Jose. I apologize. I was supposed to do it in the beginning of the show. His logo, I'm using his logo in the upper right hand corner for all my shows now. And maybe one day I'll probably do a live and have an interview with him. He's got a lot to say, here in the Bronx and stuff like that. So and this channel is sports and open topics. We do a little bit of everything, you know what I'm saying? But basically it's good conversation. So with that being said, I'm going to end the live. I want to thank D3 for coming through. Sock, thank you. Thank you for bringing the guest, Raul Marquez. Hopefully this is a good sign for more to come and, more fighters to come on the show. We got some other ideas as well, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, man.
All right, fellas.
All right, guys. So I'm going to end the show. I appreciate you guys. Have a good night. We'll talk tomorrow or later.
Have a great night, fellas.
All right, bro.
D,
Great show.
Good night. Peace.
Later.
Thank you.